traffic is a service of the Exergen Temporal Scanner Thermometer. No need to wake a child to take a temperature when they're sick. With the Exergen Temporal Scanner Thermometer, you can now take your sleeping child's temperature with just a scan across the forehead. Pick one up at Walgreens or other fine retailers today. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer starts next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center, aircomfort.com. 80 years of quality mechanical solutions for your business. Here is our meteorologist, Kevin Snyder.
A winter storm warning in effect from 9 a.m. this morning until 4 a.m. tomorrow, and a lakeshore flood warning in effect from noon today until 4 a.m. tomorrow. Cloudy, windy, and colder with snow beginning, accumulating 1 to 3 inches, high today 37. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
35 at O'Hare, 35 along the lakefront. Next news at 5:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy starts now on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by RadioPlumbingDeals.com. Have a plumbing problem? Get the best plumbers in Chicagoland and massive discounts at RadioPlumbingDeals.com.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. So Donald Trump doubles up Cruz and Rubio in Nevada. Blowout.
Blowout. I mean, he hit the jackpot. That's the headlines this morning. And the three-peat. He's won 3 straight in a row.
I don't get it. Three-peat, he has to pay Pat Riley for the use of that word. Pat Riley trademark.
What do you mean you don't get it?
Three-peat.
It was the Nevada caucuses. Yeah, he won almost every county. And then the demographics, he won among the young voters, among women, among the elderly, because my Aunt Linda was there. I'll share some tweets from her later.
Great. I'm impressed that Aunt Linda tweets.
Aunt Linda was very active because we had her on the show yesterday, and she's a precinct captain. And Dan, you told her to keep me up to date. Oh, she kept me up to date. 12 emails last night.
Good.
They ran out of ballots. The line was out the door around the corner for her precinct that she was in charge of. But surprisingly, Donald Trump won among Hispanics.
Yeah. About 10% of the caucus goers, Republican caucus goers, were Latino, and Donald Trump, and it wasn't close. He won by double figures. Rubio in second place. I think it was something like 41-27 among the segment of the caucus that was Hispanic, right?
And here's Donald Trump thanking them.
We love Nevada. We love Nevada. Thank you. A couple of months ago, we weren't expected to win this one. You know that, right? We weren't. Of course, if you listen to the pundits, we weren't expected to win too much, and now we're winning the country. And soon the country is going to start winning. We won the evangelicals. We won with young. We won with old. We won with highly educated. We won with poorly educated. I love the poorly educated. We're the smartest people. We're the most loyal people. And you know what I really am happy about? Because I've been saying it for a long time. 46% with the Hispanics. 46%. Number 1 with Hispanics.
How soon people forget that during his announcement speech, when he said that he was going to run for president, he said most Hispanics are rapists. And
he didn't say that.
Well, okay, I'm sorry. What did he say?
He referred inartfully, as he does. He may know the art of the deal. He doesn't know the art of the English language. But he referred to them as he talked about rapists and criminals they're sending over, and that was interpreted to mean he's talking about all Mexicans in that vein. He wasn't doing that.
Well, you have rapists. They're sending us not their finest people. They're sending us people, and it's people from other than Mexico also. We have drug dealers coming across. We have rapists. We have killers. We have murderers. Why, do you think they're going to send us? I mean, it's common sense. You think they're going to send us their best people and their finest people? The answer is no.
So by definition, saying they're not sending us our finest people means that they have finest people. So he wasn't painting with too broad a brush. And, that's one of those moments where he thought, oh, he's over. And there have been dozens and dozens of those moments from his announcement speech forward. And he's not over. In fact, it's quite the opposite: winning, winning, winning. The 3 winnings appropriate for 3 in a row.
Is that the new thing now? Him and Charlie Sheen are going to fight for who owns the winning.
Well, I said yesterday that populism, the synonym for populism in 2008 was hope.
Mm-hmm.
The synonym for populism in 2016 is swagger, but maybe it's winning.
Winning?
Yeah, maybe it is. I mean, but that's what this is. This is psychological. And it seems to me at this point, the only way the field winnows such that Trump is not the nominee is if he's the candidate that withdraws. And I don't think that's going to happen. I think Rubio and Cruz are in a very bad place. And I think Rubio is unwilling to this point to go after Trump straight away. He kind of passively, aggressively goes after him.
Yeah, they have a nice relationship.
Well, I don't know. I don't know if I call that, but I mean,
Well, they don't attack each other on a daily basis like Ted Cruz does with Rubio and Ted Cruz does with Trump.
Yeah, I mean, well, I would suggest that Ted Cruz, spends most of his time distinguishing himself between Trump and Rubio on issues.
Mm-hmm.
But there's something psychological that's going on here. This momentum that Trump has, this movement to some extent that he's created. We've talked about it at length over the last 8 months in terms of what he's tapping into. But it's the swagger that matters, not the substance. And it's difficult to remove that swagger when you see Trump continuing to win primaries and caucuses. And that's exactly the challenge that Rubio and/or Cruz has. And that challenge has about 2 weeks left, 2.5 weeks left to either be met or you fail. And this thing gets away from everybody other than Donald Trump in a big hurry. I mean, if he right now, if you look ahead to Super Tuesday, Trump is ahead in all of the states, all the Super Tuesday states, I believe, other than Texas, where Cruz maintains like a 7 to 9 point lead.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
and Texas has 155 delegates. So
pretty delegate-rich state.
You want to win in Texas,
yeah, which is why that's really Cruz needs to hold the line and win Texas. And momentum's a funny thing. The bandwagoning effect is a funny thing. I don't know what kind of effect Nevada's results will have on Texas a week from yesterday, but 7 points is not a lot of ground to make up. So we'll see. Marco Rubio, I mean, can he not win anything until Florida on March 15th? But by that time, boy, I just don't know.
Well, if Mitt Romney endorses him before Massachusetts, before the Super Tuesday, well, I'm saying that's 42 delegates. That might be
Massachusetts.
Something. Yeah, Mitt Romney. I thought Mitt Romney was going to endorse him before the Nevada caucuses because there's a lot of Mormons there, and it just seemed if he was going to endorse him, that would be the time to do it. But now he might endorse him before Super Tuesday.
Mitt Romney's endorsement, first of all, I don't think has a particularly big impact.
Okay.
Number one. Number two, Donald Trump is up like 30 in Massachusetts. I mean,
that doesn't mean you don't give up.
Well, I'm not saying you give up, but Mitt Romney's endorsement isn't going to move the needle. Not like the needle needs to be moved for Rubio. All of these politicians' endorsements, politicians endorsing other politicians, I think they mean less this cycle, with perhaps a few exceptions, than they've ever meant.
Because everybody wants an outsider?
Right, and because, these guys backslapping each other. Yeah, I know. That's what they do. That's why I despise them. That's why I want Donald Trump to go in there like a wrecking ball, excuse my Miley Cyrus.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. Yeah, very nice.
But Donald Trump didn't pass up an endorsement from Sarah Palin, the half governor from Alaska.
It's not about passing up endorsements. It's about understanding what kind of impact they have.
Mm-hmm.
And by the way, despite Rubio, if we want to do this game of who should get out, Rubio or Cruz, so Rubio finishes narrowly second by 1/10 of 1 point or 0.5 of a percentage point, whatever it was in South Carolina, 1,000 votes, and he finishes a couple points ahead of Cruz in Nevada. Yeah, well, if you look ahead to Super Tuesday, Cruz is in second position in most of those states behind Trump. And again, if he wins Texas, that's a whole host of delegates. So what incentive does Cruz have to drop out? And then the flip side is,
what incentive does Rubio have to drop out?
The Beltway establishment, the Beltway types, Beltway Republicans, all circling Rubio, endorsing Rubio, more money coming to Rubio because of Jeb Bush's departure. So what incentive does he have to drop out?
Well, Ted Cruz should try to convince Ben Carson to drop out before the Super Tuesday, because there's a lot of people in Texas who like Ben Carson who are supporting him, probably 8%, but Ted Cruz could benefit from that 8% if he got out of the race.
Yeah, although if it continues to be 45 to 23 to 21, there's just not enough other votes out there at this point. The other thing that happened last night, and this is fun too, I don't think Karl Rove is quite ready to call Nevada for Trump. I mean, it's one of these.
Still? He's not accepting it?
The delusion. I mean, so first it was in South Carolina, Trump underperformed his Real Clear Politics polling average by a couple points, so Trump should be worried. Now in Nevada, I heard this even before the caucus results started to come in last night, this idea that, it's a small state. It's that you have, because of the caucus rather than a primary, you have even fewer Republicans turning out than you otherwise should. I mean, trying to discount the importance of Nevada. And now the whole thing doesn't turn on Nevada, but I mean, it is indicative of a clear swing of momentum since Iowa. And a week from today, if Trump substantially runs the table, I can't wait to hear how Karl Rove says, Trump should be worried about that too. But it's fascinating to listen to some of these pundits, including on Fox News. They're just unlistenable. Oh, yeah. They're ridiculous. Trump keeps winning, and he should be very, very concerned. Rubio and Cruz keep finishing second and third, and it's theirs to lose somehow. I mean, it's ridiculous.
312-642-5600 is our turnkey.pro answer line.
Greg in LaGrange.
Hi. Hey, how are you guys doing this morning?
Good.
2 quick questions for you guys. Assuming Clinton does not go to jail or does not get indicted, does Trump, with all his negativism, win a general election? And 2, what long-term damage has been done to Ted Cruz's political career from this campaign? Thanks. I'll hang up and listen to my answer.
Thanks, Greg. Well, in terms of Trump and Hillary, look, there is nothing that suggests that Trump could not beat Hillary in a general election. I think he could. In fact, I think he would.
I think he will. There's no energy on the Democratic side. I mean, their voter turnout in South Carolina and Nevada was disgusting. I mean, so much so that Harry Reid yesterday or 2 days ago had to get up and make some cockamamie excuse. Oh, the economy is good now, so that's why voter turnout was so low.
Yeah, and there's they
don't have the Obama factor. There's no sizzle there.
There's an enthusiasm gap. That's one thing. There is Trump's appeal to a segment of the electorate that Mitt Romney didn't capture, that the Democrats have jettisoned. That is key in states like Ohio and Wisconsin and Michigan that perhaps Trump could put in play. Certainly Ohio's in play, but some of these other states that haven't necessarily been in play, that Trump could not only put in play, but he could win based on the kind of composition of his coalition. This idea, and right now there's no evidence to suggest otherwise. I mean, if you look at the polls, which is how Rubio's making his case that he's the candidate most likely to beat Hillary and so forth. I mean, it's a statistical dead heat. So this idea Trump can't beat Hillary, because why? It's just this women's intuition that Beltway pundits are suggesting, but there's no evidence to suggest that he can't win.
Wow, winning. This is the morning show more Chicago radio listeners are choosing. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Oh, it's coming. A winter storm warning begins in a few hours, and it's going to last until 4 a.m. tomorrow. Snow totals look like this: anywhere from a foot of snow in northwest Indiana to a half a foot in downtown Chicago. O'Hare getting a projected 3.3 inches of snow. And it's going to be windy, cold, and blowing snow as well. A high today of just 37 degrees. Then tomorrow, breezy with considerable cloudiness, a high of 36. Let's get the travel times, the calm before the storm. Jim Telemonte.
That's right, Amy. Good morning. Good morning, Dan. Right now, the wind is the biggest issue. And in fact, later this morning, the Indiana Toll Road is going to be banning, once again, all high-profile trailers, double and triple loads, oversized loads, and steel haulers. That'll be from 11 o'clock Central Time this morning for 24 hours till 11 a.m. Thursday. Right now, we see delays on the outbound Stevenson from before LaGrange Road to just past LaGrange Road. There's an overnight crash which still has 3 left lanes blocked, 42 minutes. Lakeshore Drive to 355. Inbound still fine at 34. I-80 westbound at 47. There's a crash in the right lane. Still some road work on the westbound Adams Tollway from Arlington Heights Road 53 in the 2 left lanes. No real delay there, though. There are flight delays at O'Hare already this morning. Some cancellations for morning flights. You know we're going to have a lot this afternoon. Jim Talamonte, ChicagoRadioDeals.com, Traffic Center.
With this storm coming, it's great to think about getting away, and you could still join us as we escape down south to Los Cabos, Mexico. Oh, yeah, we're leaving April 2nd, returning April 9th, and our trip is presented by Dermatology and Plastic Surgery Associates and by Artistic Dentistry. Now, the exclusive Apple Vacations price is expired, but there's still limited availability, so if you want to join us in Cabo, do it today. We're staying at the Secrets Puerto Los Cabos Golf and Spa Resort. Just go online and click Secrets Puerto Los Cabos, and you will see it all for yourself. Just stunning rooms, adults only, all-inclusive, of course. All you have to pay for is just to get a trip to O'Hare and leaving O'Hare, because we have everything else covered. The resort also has sparkling pools and miles of pristine beaches, and for the golf lovers, there's 2 9-hole courses right at the front steps of the resort. So book your trip today. Visit 560theanswer.com, keyword escape. That's 560theanswer.com, keyword escape, and join Dan and Amy as we head south to Los Cabos, Mexico.
Hi, I'm Tom Sadeka, President and CEO of Precision Payroll of America. We're the 32-year-old company whose first employee and first client are still working together. With me today is one heck of a great service partner.
Thanks, Tom. Hi, I'm Andrea Kashaba, owner of Tulane & Associates Accounting and Tax Services here in Elk Grove, servicing small businesses since 1986. I heard Precision Payroll ads years ago. I called on behalf of one of my clients. Tom came out, met with us. Since then, we've added 6 more clients and absolutely love working with Tom.
What do you have, rapists? They're sending us not their finest people.
With Precision Payroll, as it makes serving my clients even easier.
Andrea, thanks for coming in and sharing our success story. You are awesome and a joy to work with. If you want to partner with us or work with us, call me directly at 630-242-1507. That's 630-242-1507. Or on the web at precisionpayroll.com.
Not available in California. Here's a great idea for a business: health food and vending machines. Who doesn't want healthier choices? Imagine the money you could make. Well, the guys at Fresh Healthy Vending have already thought of it and have secured locations ready for healthy vending machines. Most of our franchisees work fewer than 15 hours a week and are amazed at the income they're making and how fast their business is growing. So go to readyforfresh.com right now. Type in promo code 1919 and receive an immediate 50% savings on franchise fees. That's right, we'll pay half of new franchisees' fees. Readyforfresh.com, 1919.
At GoDaddy, a domain name is the beginning of something awesome. Use it to create a website to promote your business. Open an online store to sell your products. Start a blog. Build your brand. You can even connect your domain to your LinkedIn or Facebook page. And GoDaddy customer support is always ready to help. What will you do with your domain name? Get a free domain with website from GoDaddy.com, starting at $1 a month. Annual purchase of website builder required. Price valid first year only. See website for details.
Coming up next, it's me, Mike Gallagher, right after Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy on AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, I wanted to pick up the other question that Greg from LaGrange had asked, too. What long-term damage does this campaign do to Senator Ted Cruz's political career? Well, one, I mean, it's not over yet. That's number one. Number two, I don't think it does any damage. I don't see what damage it does.
Well, just because of the dirty trickery with, in reference to Rubio, which I know you don't think is a big deal, but not a lot of us think like you. We're not as intelligent as you. We're pedestrians, we're street people, and we see this and think, you know what? He didn't need to do that. He didn't need to Photoshop a picture of Rubio shaking Obama's hand. He didn't need to do the robocalls. He didn't sound out those voting vouchers where people in Iowa who can't afford attorneys thought that they were being in trouble. Well, it's just he's smarter than that.
It's actually people who are following this too closely who obsess about that stuff, not people who do not follow politics on a day-to-day way like we do.
I know, but
this dissipates into the ether. The only thing that was really dumb and will be remembered is the Rick Tyler, the campaign spokesman, being fired because that made some news. But this is not going to have lasting impact on Ted Cruz's political career. Text from 708 is a Trump supporter. Cruz faces a tough Senate reelection. He does. That's news to me, and I think to Ted Cruz. He comes out of this race now with 1 million donors nationally. He will be able to raise money nationally in perpetuity. He will continue, if he is not the nominee, he will continue to be kind of a conservative thought leader in the Senate. and a popular figure in conservative circles nationally, I don't see what the downside is. And frankly, I think the downside is limited for Rubio as well, if he's not the nominee or VP, because he runs for governor in Florida in 2018, and
he'll probably win.
Maybe Florida's a odd state, so it's
America's third world country. Yeah, I'll give you that.
Well, I wouldn't go that far, but it swings. So it's just because you're a Republican doesn't mean it's a fait accompli in Florida.
Yeah. Well, Marco Rubio's campaign, I thought what they did yesterday was brilliant. So he was in Nevada until about noon. Then he left and he went to 2 Super Tuesday states, and then he went to bed early because he's getting up probably right about now and going on all the morning talk shows to celebrate his second place victory. Well, as opposed to Ted Cruz last night. Ted Cruz looked tired, and I mean, he seemed exhausted, and that's the message that they're going to play over and over again on the morning shows.
Okay, good luck spinning your second place finish where you got more than doubled up. Good luck with that, Rubio.
Second's the new first.
Not anymore. Randy and Sandwich are on Chicago's Morning Answer.
You can lead a damn prop to water, but can you make him drink? When we started this process, it was all Sideshow Donald. He's a joke. He's a circus ass. He's a carnival barker, on and on and on and on. And here we are now where it sounds like you're starting to backtrack some and not say those kind of things because you see the intensity that's starting to become a reality. And my one statement to you is this. There was a movie a while ago that Joe Pesci was in called Landlord, and he was a slumlord, okay? Yes. And then the judge made him stay inside that building in order to see how life was if he was a tenant. How do we know that this process that Trump has went through, going from town to town, state to state, seeing Americans and going through and seeing it through our eyes, that this won't change him in the way that people portray him as a person who's just going to go there and say whatever they want him to say, and he ain't going to do nothing. I beg to differ that when you go look people in the eyes and you see people the way you do when you go on a campaign trail for running for president, it will change you and he'll be a different person.
Thanks for the call, Randy. The movie was The Super. Vincent Gardenia was excellent as Joe Pesci's father in that movie. In terms of being a carnival barker and also being...
I'm the one who said he was a carnival barker.
Well, I've said...
Have you said that too?
I've said, descriptions to that effect. In terms of being a carnival barker, being a president of the United States, I don't believe the two are mutually exclusive.
Listen to Dan and Amy on your smartphone. Download the AM 560 mobile app today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Over a half century ago, a respected establishment opened in Lake County, Illinois. What started as a hobby to Mike Schrank has served generations of firearm customers that are treated like family. Schrank's Smoke and Gun retains that family atmosphere and now carries the largest selection of new, used, and consignment firearms in Lake County. Over 800 including pistols, rifles, shotguns, plus hard-to-find calibers and ammunition. Even collectibles, older functioning hunting rifles, and full gunsmith services. Whether you're thinking about your first firearm and a FOID card or looking to add to your collection, now's the perfect time to discover Schrank's. Every store-owned firearm is up to 40% off during the annual store-wide sale, now through February 27th. If you love cigars, you'll find your favorites in Schrank's humidors. Visit smoke_gun.org or call 847-662-4034. Schrank's Smoke and Gun in Waukegan, your family-owned gun store since 1964. That's 847-662-4034.
Hey, maybe you've considered a private school in the past for your kids, but you always figured you couldn't afford it. Well, if that's the case, we want to remind you about halfpriceschools.com. At halfpriceschools.com, you can find dozens of local private schools that are offering vouchers for a full year of tuition at, you guessed it, half the price. There's no catch. Find a school near you, purchase a tuition voucher, and prepare to send your child off to school this fall. It's that simple. Halfpriceschools.com is schools located all across the Chicagoland area, including Roselle, Hoffman Estates, South Holland, Chicago, Arlington Heights. This might make private schools a real option for your family for the first time, but do not wait. Many of these vouchers will sell out. Visit halfpriceschools.com today. That's halfpriceschools.com. Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Why Republicans in the Senate should want a fight over the Supreme Court nominee to replace Antonin Scalia at 5:35.
And Hillary Clinton has a new explanation for why she's not releasing those paid speech, the transcripts of those paid speeches. You'll hear it here. But first, let's go into the newsroom and say good morning to Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, good morning. Good morning, everyone. We have a winter storm warning up for the Chicago area, northwest Indiana, a blizzard warning for later today as the snow and storm bears down on the Chicago area for later this morning. Donald Trump wins again. The GOP frontrunner takes a victory handily in the Nevada Republican caucuses.
Of course, if you listen to the pundits, we weren't expected to win too much, and now we're winning the country. And soon the country is going to start winning.
Marco Rubio edging out Ted Cruz in a neck-and-neck race for second. Ohio Governor John Kasich's days in the Republican presidential race could be numbered. Politico reports Kasich is being urged to drop out now by GOP leaders who want to coalesce behind Florida Senator Marco Rubio. The two Democrat presidential candidates are making their cases in South Carolina.
You know, the facts are that every single time somebody has hurled these charges against me, which they have done, it's proved to be nothing. And this is no different than that.
Hillary Clinton on her email scandal at a CNN town hall forum where she backed the president's attempts to close the Guantanamo Bay detention facility in Cuba. At least 3 are dead, dozens more hurt after tornadoes ripped through the southeast. Damage from the deadly twisters reported from Louisiana into the Florida Panhandle. Wreckage of a missing plane found in Nepal. All 23 on board have been confirmed dead this morning. The Tribune reports Cook County State's Attorney candidate Kim Foxx will get the backing of the Chicago Teachers Union, endorsing Foxx in the upcoming March primary. Governor Rauner's proposed 2017 budget will be bad news for Southern Illinois University. According to that school's president, Randy Dunn says a $40 million cut in funding called for in Rauner's plan would force what he called wholesale ending of programs at the school's 3 campuses. Chicago sports, Central Michigan knocked off our Northern Illinois Huskies last night, 76-64. Big Ten, Michigan State, number 6 in the land, took down Ohio State 81-62. And there's NBA on tap tonight as the Bulls get set for Washington. 5:35 is our time. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Sean Hannity hopes now is the time the Senate will stand up to the president.
Mitch McConnell, the Senate Majority Leader, declared that he's not going to act on any Supreme Court nomination by Obama, declaring the vacancy should not be filled until after Obama leaves office. And I hope these guys hold the line. They have all the power to stop this. There's nothing that will stop them from doing it except if they get in their own way.
The Sean Hannity Show. Afternoons at 2, right before Joe Walsh at 5 on AM 560. The Answer.
Wheaton's Marriage and Family Therapy degree offers training from faculty who contribute to the Illinois licensure standards. Apply by March 1st at wheaton.edu/therapy.
The only significant among all the vitamins I changed, nothing affected cholesterol. I took this and my cholesterol dropped by 15 or 20%.
Yeah, with the acid reflux, and I have GERD and gastritis, and it really seems to be helping a lot, and my husband too. I mean, we're very happy with the product, I got to say it. It's been great, and we've seen dramatic results, so I can't say anything bad about it. We've really been happy with the product. We've been amazed with it.
There is a value in it because it has fruits and veggies, and I'm not a fruit and veggies eater, and I know this is helpful.
Good health is just a phone call away. What are you waiting for? Call now and take the health challenge to get a free month's supply of Balance of Nature. Call 1-800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code CHICAGO.
537, the news, a service of Unbound. Around the world, there are young people who face difficult decisions, continue their dream of education, or drop out to back their families. You can help. Write a news story. Seek potential, not poverty, at unbound.org. Check the roads now in our ChicagoRadioDeals.com traffic center. And here's Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. Southbound I-55 is jammed from just past First Avenue to just before the Tri-State Tollway. An overnight crash still has 3 left lanes blocked. It's 54 minutes from Lakeshore Drive to 355, so that's a 20-minute delay. Inbound, there's a Gapers delay starting at Willow Springs Road. And it's slow Pulaski to Kedzie as well. 38 minutes, 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive. Edens to Kennedy are still fine, though it's windy. About Eisenhower, just a little heavy past Manheim. Ryan has a 5-minute delay from Stevenson to downtown. Bishop Ford, a 4-minute delay entering downtown. Adams Tollway westbound, so Gulf Road to 53. Overnight road work is now clearing in that area. I-80 westbound at 47. There's a crash in the right lane. The Indiana Toll Road at 11 a.m. will have a ban for high-profile double and triple trailers and oversized loads due to the winds. That'll be a 24-hour ban. There are flight delays already this morning. Traffic is a service of Unbound as well. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte, AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from our aircomfort.com weather center. Aircomfort.com, 80 years of quality mechanical solutions for your business. Cloudy, windy, colder, snow beginning around a little after 9 a.m. this morning. 1 to 3 inches in the north and northwest suburbs. 3 to 6 inches in the city of Chicago south to southern Cook County, and anywhere from 6 to 10 inches with high winds in northwest Indiana, where a blizzard warning goes into effect. A little later today, we should top out at 37. 35 right now. Next news at 6. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Kelly Financial Services, helping you secure your financial future today. Visit kellyfinancialservicesinc.com.
Hey, Joe Walsh here. Which Republican won money and which Republican lost money in Las Vegas, in Nevada? We'll talk about it when Freedom returns at 5.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Turning to the Supreme Court, should Republicans want a fight over the nominee to replace Scalia? A fight with this president in this year, a fight where they draw the line, as Mitch McConnell redrew yesterday, and say, we are not going to take up any Supreme Court nominee this president puts forward. Should they want that? Bill McGurn in Wall Street Journal makes the case they should want such a Supreme Court fight.
Do you want that fight?
I do. I think that's the right position, and I think Bill McGurn has a good argument to make in this piece I'm referencing. And here's something. Remember the backdrop of this. Some of the polling yesterday that was interesting to me about the Nevada caucus. The percentage of voters, Republican primary voters or caucus goers, angry with the federal government.
Oh, yeah. Everybody was angry. Yes, those numbers were skyrocketing in the 80%.
No, it wasn't 80, but in the first couple of states like Iowa, South Carolina, New Hampshire, it was about 40 roughly. In Nevada, it was close to 60. It was up like 56, 57%.
Why is everybody so angry in Nevada?
Well, partly is
because of Harry Reid, possibly.
Okay, they keep losing at the casinos. That's number one. No, but it's part of it is don't forget 80% of Nevada is owned by the federal government.
Right.
So they have probably more interaction off the strip with the federal government than a lot of us do in terms of their day-to-day lives. And also just as Steve Wynn said yesterday, people getting 80 and 90 cents back on for every dollar in pay they receive because of the debt that this administration has piled on, because of the regulatory state, because of the culture. They just feel like they're being fleeced by a government they finance, and they're tired of it. So that drives a lot of hard feelings. Totally understandable. And to that end, McGurn writes in this Wall Street Journal piece, on issues ranging from recess appointments to work permits for illegal immigrants, this president has made many end runs around the law. The Senate's advice and consent power is one of the few ways Congress can check the abuse of executive power. This is a good point, and it's one we haven't referenced in talking about this, haven't kind of reintroduced. But lest we forget, this president, President Obama, no less than 13 times has had an executive action overturned by the Supreme Court unanimously. That is how egregious his executive overreaches have been over the last 7 years. 13 times a unanimous Supreme Court has overturned executive action President Obama has taken.
Even his liberal Supreme Court justices that he put in place don't agree with him. Yep. That's what unanimous means. 13 times. Wow.
So that's essentially the point that McGurn is referring to in terms of the check on executive power. The second part of his argument is to recognize, as he suggests Scalia did, that it was the Supreme Court's own activism which birthed the partisanship that has infected the nomination process. Beginning in 73 when they made up the Roe v. Wade decision, and going from there, I mean, thinking about, of course, the Robert Bork nomination and other such instances. So the Supreme Court and the justices on the court have produced, in part, the political culture we have today with respect to nominations and nominees, the nomination process, and ultimately confirmation votes. I think that's exactly right. And interestingly...
So are you switching your position? Because now you want the Senate Judiciary Committee to hold hearings on a possible Obama nominee?
No. I'm saying this is the fight we want. Okay. He's saying, McGurn is saying the same thing that the Senate GOP, with the exception of like Mark Kirk, is saying, don't even bother. No hearings on any nominee that President Obama puts forward. He has the authority to put forward a nominee, and as we've said before, the Senate has the authority within their advice and consent power to do nothing, to not take up the nominee. They could take up the nominee. They could not take up the nominee. And McGurn lays out a couple of more arguments in favor of the hardline position that Senate Republicans have made. And then the political backdrop of this, how angry with leadership of the Republican Party rank and file is throughout the country. Boy, oh boy, McConnell will blow up a lot of Republican U.S. senators running for re-election if they wilt on this score.
I believe the overwhelming view of the Republican Conference of the Senate in the Senate is that this nomination should not be filled, this vacancy should not be filled by this lame duck president.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's McConnell. That's the right position. Whether he gives leave for the Mark Kirks of the world to go rogue or not, that is the right position. And what is it that Donald Trump represents? The swagger that he represents. That we are not going to get steamrolled by anybody anymore. Weak-kneed Republicans or complicit Republicans or Democrats nakedly pursuing power, which is what Schumer and Biden were doing back in the day when the balance of power was different, and they suggested that George Herbert Walker Bush shouldn't put up any SCOTUS nominee, George W. Bush shouldn't put up any SCOTUS nominee because they were DOA in the Senate. That was Biden and Schumer because they play power politics. They're street fighters. We have too many cake eaters. Donald Trump, street fighter. Donald Trump, swagger. Donald Trump, we are going to push back, and every quarter. You are not the problem, people who've played by the rules and see the quality of life diminishing. This usual cast of characters with their customary rhetoric and their, hi, I'm a Republican, I apologize, concessions, that's over. And it turns out that has a lot of appeal.
Well, quickly, U.S. Senator Dick Durbin responded in such great form and fashion.
In this press conference, Senator McConnell and the Republican leaders said point blank they are not going to exercise their constitutional responsibilities. This has never happened before. Never. We've not had this happen in history. And now Senator McConnell is going to have to wear the collar for it. He has decided that his Republicans will not do their job.
Yeah.
And then walked away with his tail between his legs.
Yeah, he's almost...
almost crying. He got all worked up and his hands were a little shaking.
Puddle of tears for sack of Durbin there. Then he ran away.
Went back to the sandbox.
I can see, based on that statement, why Dick Durbin and Mark Kirk are such fast friends. They both do not understand the advice and consent power in Article 2. They're both
it all goes back to Article 2.
Well, but they're both making the same argument. The responsibility to provide advice and consent, that responsibility turns out to be rather broad. As I said, you can take up the nominee, you cannot take up the nominee. There is no definitive timeline. Senator Durbin knows that. That's why we call him Sack of Durbin, because he's a disingenuous scumbag. Ken in Deer Lake, Indiana, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hey, Dan, I had a quick question. Would it be a possibility for Ted Cruz to be nominated for Supreme Justice?
Anything's possible.
Why?
Yeah.
Why? Because he's a Canadian? I'm just kidding.
No, I just don't know what the qualifications have to become a Supreme Judge to be nominated, or how does that go?
Yeah,
you don't have to be an attorney or a litigator to be
that is
nominated.
the one court on which having a law degree is not required in the infinite wisdom of our founders.
See, here, I'm pulling for Ted Cruz to be Attorney General. I think that position would be absolutely perfect for him.
Oh, he'd be great.
He'd be
but
wonderful.
But Cruz could be nominated as a Supreme Court justice, and if he's not the nominee for President of the United States, I would suggest that Donald Trump consider it.
Did you just say it? Oh my God, you said it.
Donald Trump, President Donald Trump. That's right. Get used to it. I've got to start saying it now so I can get used to it by the time the primary's over.
All right, Dan, we're making headway here.
Thanks for the call, Ken. Appreciate it.
Really? You're going there on me?
We had a text from Steve on 88. Real Donald Trump still a clown, or is he a shrewd politician now? Again, the two are not mutually exclusive. Yeah. You can be a clown and a shrewd politician. Look at Dick Durbin. Kent and Hodgkins.
Hey, good morning. Dick Durbin's forgetting Harry Reid's standard when he was the leader of the Senate, when he called the Republicans losers. You know, the standard was then, you know, if you lose the election, you know, you don't get to choose and decide what's done. So the Democrats lost the Senate, so now they're losers and they don't get to choose what goes on.
That's right, Kent, but you're misunderstanding the situational ethics of Democrats like Reid and Durbin. Tom in Schaumburg.
Hey, if Trump wants to score some real points right now, he should fire a shot across the bow of the Supreme Court by just saying, I don't care how many liberals are on that court. If they start handing down rulings that aren't consistent with the Constitution of this country, I'll remove all of them from the bench and have them jailed.
Thanks for the call, Tom.
I don't think that's possible if they had not committed a crime.
This is where I'm the Trump populism goes off the rails for me. But it also underscores just how much anger there is out there. Is the cheering for authoritarianism, the cheering for the further concentration of power in the executive branch of the federal government. I'm not applauding along with that.
The stories you need to know to start your day. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Get your shovels ready because it's coming. We have a winter storm warning beginning in 3 hours here, and it's going to last all the way until 4 a.m. tomorrow morning. Cloudy, windy, snow totals anywhere from 1 inch to a foot of snow in northwest Indiana. Downtown, they're projecting a half foot of snow at O'Hare, 3.3 inches. We'll see if I'm correct tomorrow. But be careful out there because there's going to be blowing snow and very windy conditions. Let's get the travel times. Here's Jim Telemonte.
Thanks, Amy and Dan. There are some flight delays and cancellations at O'Hare already this morning and many more likely this afternoon. Right now at Midway, almost everything's on schedule. On the outbound Stevenson, traffic is jammed from First Avenue to before the Tri-State. An overnight crash still leaves 3 left lanes blocked. It's an hour from Lakeshore Drive to 355. Inbound, it's 42 minutes. There's a Gapers delay from County Line to past 294, and it's Slow Pulaski to Kedzie. Edens and the Kennedy are still looking good. Inbound Eisenhower, little slowing past Manheim. Inbound Ryan, 22 minutes, 95th to downtown, outbound Pine at 15. Bishop 423 minutes, 8094 to the merge. Illinois tollway's good. There'll be a ban on the Indiana toll road for high-profile loads. That's 11 a.m. today until 11 a.m. Thursday. Jim Talamonte, ChicagoRadioDeals.com, Traffic Center.
On AM 560 The Answer, we talk about the important issues that affect your world. Things like the economy, education, and foreign policy. There's always so much going on in the news that we don't always have the time to drill down and talk about the big ideas behind the big issues. That's where Upstream Ideas comes in. Upstream Ideas, online at upstream-ideas.com, in partnership with the Illinois Opportunity Project, provides the kind of information that informs the policy discussions happening here on AM 560. At Upstream Ideas, you'll broaden the debate, move beyond partisan assumptions, and challenge accepted orthodoxies. In other words, Upstream Ideas goes against the current and thinks upstream. Go online now to upstream-ideas.com. That's upstream-ideas.com. You'll be armed with new information and fresh perspectives to spur you on to make the state of Illinois and the United States of America a bit more free, a bit more just, and a bit more civilized. Upstream-ideas.com.
A beauty day to play 18, huh, Dale?
80 degrees and not a cloud in the sky. This is the life.
The forecast looks great for the next 3 days, too.
Looks like we'll just schedule 3 more courses this week. Tee it up.
You've been pretty lucky that you've been able to spend some quality time in the sun. Something that you may not be so lucky with is the fact that 1 in 5 people will develop skin cancer in their lifetime. At Dermatology and Plastic Surgery Associates, they know that most people are unaware of the effects that a lifetime of sun can have on their skin. If you've been sunburned in your lifetime, it's time to have your skin checked out. Call Dermatology and Plastic Surgery Associates at 815-744-8554 or visit skinhealthpros.com. The doctors at Dermatology and Plastic Surgery Associates have your skin health covered. Skin cancer kills, so today's the day to get your skin checked. Dermatology and Plastic Surgery Associates, 815-744-8554 or visit skinhealthpros.com. Healthy skin, healthy body, healthy, happy you.
When's the last time you saw a pay raise? For many Illinois families, it's been years, unless you work for state government. AFSCME workers have seen their salaries grow 5 times faster than Illinois workers' median earnings over the last decade. And they get Cadillac health insurance that most Illinois families can't afford. But that's not enough for Illinois government workers. They're demanding more, $3 billion more. Enough is enough. It's time to stand up for Illinois taxpayers. Learn more and make your voice heard at illinoispolicy.org. Illinois' political class is crushing Illinois families. Illinoisans struggle to find good jobs and schools, and they struggle to pay for government workers who retire in their 50s and earn millions in retirement. Illinois Policy fights against the Springfield status quo on behalf of all families, not just the politically connected. See what Illinois' political class doesn't want you to read at illinoispolicy.org. Illinois Policy, Illinois' comeback story starts here.
AM 560, The Answer.
So, Amy, you had it yesterday. Spike Lee endorsing Bernie Sanders. Spike Lee feeling the burn.
You know who else is endorsing him? Danny Glover is out on the campaign trail with him. Susan Sarandon is tweeting on his behalf. They all want some Bernie. They are feeling the burn.
I know. Susan Sarandon made it very clear she does not vote with her private parts.
The VJJ.
Yeah. Spike Lee's done more than endorse him. He's got a radio commercial out for Bernie.
Wake up! Wake up, South Carolina! This is your dude, Spike Lee. And I know that you know this system is rigged. For too long, we've given our votes to corporate puppets. Sold the okie doke. 99% of Americans were hurt by the Great Recession of 2008, and many are still recovering. And that's why I'm officially endorsing my brother, Bernie Sanders. Bernie takes no money for corporations. Means he is not on the take. And when Bernie gets in the White House, he will do the right thing. Okay. How can we be sure?
No.
Bernie was at the March on Washington with Dr. King. He was arrested in Chicago for protesting segregation in public schools. He fought for wealth and education equality throughout his whole career. No flipping, no flopping. Enough talk. Time for action. Hey, Bernie from Brooklyn, talk to the folks.
I'm Bernie Sanders, Democratic candidate for president, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Bernie 2016, not the billionaires.
Bernie Sanders was there to protest the Dred Scott decision, not just for MLK in Washington. And okey doke?
What's okey doke at the pokey doke? I don't get it.
Stewardess, I speak jive.
You've made the switch, and it feels so good. You've switched to Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Are you ready to take your education to the next level? Arizona State University now offers more than 100 top-tier degree programs, 100% online. With ASU's highly ranked online programs, you'll earn the same degree as our on-campus students, with the ability to learn wherever you want, whenever you want. Same world-renowned faculty, same leading education, same global recognition from one of the top universities in the world. Call 1-800-505-6965. That's 1-800-505-6965.
I'm Jamie from Sherman Oaks, and I just graduated with my degree from Arizona State University. I chose ASU because I received the quality education I deserve in the major I wanted, all from my home.
Jamie's not the only one to earn a degree from ASU. There are over 100 degree programs offered 100% online from one of the top universities. Now's the time to learn more about earning your degree online from Arizona State University. Call 1-800-505-6965. That's 1-800-505-6965.
Running a business can be challenging, especially here in Illinois. You face mountains of regulations on top of taxes and fees, not to mention new Obamacare requirements. Business owners who manage to survive and thrive deserve to be recognized, and that's exactly what we here at AM 560 The Answer are going to do. This spring, we'll be hitting the road on the AM 560 Business Tour presented by Signature Bank. It's a way for us to celebrate local businesses who are overcoming the odds and succeeding in spite of the many challenges they face. We want to give back to the business community by broadcasting this show live from various locations throughout Chicagoland. Does your business have a great success story? If so, we want to hear about it. Go to 560theanswer.com/business. Fill out the brief form to tell us about how you and your business are beating the odds to serve your clients in your community. We'll select several businesses as stops on our AM 560 Business Tour, and we'll broadcast from your location to share your success with our audience. We hope to inspire other business owners and show the world that, yes, you did build that. So go to 560theanswer.com/business to tell us your story, and we may be stopping at your location this spring on the AM 560 Business Tour.
My name is David Hochberg, and I'm Vice President of Lending at Pearl Mortgage. That's right, I'm now Vice President of Lending at Pearl Mortgage. If you're looking to purchase a new home or refinance your existing home, give me a call. I'm the same guy that's provided listeners with honest advice and outstanding customer service for the past 13 years. The only thing that's changed is where I work. When you want to refinance and pay off debt, you called me and I helped you. When your kids were purchasing their first home and you wanted to make sure they were working with a trustworthy lender, you called me and I helped them. If you would like to talk to me about a mortgage, please give me a call at 312-751-1333. That's 312-751-1333. Email me at david@pearldavid.com. That's david@PERLDavid.com. Or visit my website, am560david.com. 312-751-1333. Pearl Mortgage is an equal housing lender, Illinois residential mortgage licensee, 4358, licensed by DBO under California RMLA and MLS 19186. PearlMortgage.com licensing.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer, the politics behind the closing of Gitmo. But first, into the newsroom we go. Here is Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, winter storms expected to hit parts of the Chicago area today. In northwest Indiana, a blizzard warning is up. The body of a missing British tourist has been found. A mental fitness issue to come up at a terror-related suspects hearing. Field Museum archaeologist and a brewer recreate an ancient beer. And in the NBA tonight, the Bulls take on Washington. WIND Chicago News Time, 6 o'clock.
This is a Fox News alert. I'm Dave Anthony. Donald Trump takes Nevada.
Of course, if you listen to the pundits, we weren't expected to win too much, and now we're winning the country.
It's his third straight win. Nevada Republicans gave Trump more votes at 46% than Marco Rubio and Ted Cruz combined.
The Nevada Republican Party is now reporting record turnout from last night, with 75,000 people participating in the caucuses. And during entrance and exit polls, so many of them expressing their frustration, rage, and agitation with the federal government and the way the whole system works.
Fox's Alicia Cunha in Las Vegas.
Now the candidates take their delegates and head into the Super Tuesday states to compete for some big prizes. Donald Trump leads in the polls in a majority of those states.
Despite finishing third in Nevada, Ted Cruz is confident going into next week's contest because of his strong Second Amendment stance.
And let me tell you something. You look at those Super Tuesday states, they like their guns, too.
The next Democratic contest is the primary in South Carolina Saturday. Imagine being this guy.
I've got literally nothing left. No clothes, food, nothing.
His home was destroyed in Louisiana in severe storms that turned deadly in the South. Fox's Tanya J. Powers has more live.
And Dave, that storm system is being blamed for the deaths of at least 3 people in Mississippi and Louisiana, where this woman's home was destroyed, too.
I guess it's a total loss of the house. They'll probably just have to tear it down and do whatever.
At an RV park in hard-hit Convent, Louisiana, rescue workers have been turning over debris looking for people who may still be trapped. Dozens were hurt there, 7 critically. The system is now making its way through Alabama and Georgia. That's where flash flood watches and wind advisories have been issued, Dave.
Tony, they're still cleaning up from that cyclone in Fiji. 42 people were killed. At least 4 remain missing, including an infant ripped from his parents' arms in wind and high water. The storm had 177-mile-an-hour winds. Fox News Radio, fair and balanced.
Cloudy and 35 degrees, and in the impact zone this morning, where the blizzard warning is up, snow already beginning to fall across the southern parts of our listening area and into northwest Indiana. It's 6:02 on AM 560, The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. Snow will create quite a mess this morning. A winter storm warning up for most of the AM 560 listening area. That blizzard warning is already in effect for Lake and Porter County Indiana and Kankakee County in Illinois. Already schools from Beecher and Peatone on the Illinois side of the border to Hobart and Lake Central Indiana. Those schools are already closed, among many others. A motorist is dead after colliding with a semi on the Stevenson Expressway. The crash happened early this morning in Hodgkins. The truck driver was not hurt. All southbound lanes of I-55 were closed for a time as crews cleared that scene. Students at Chicago State will not be having a spring break this year. School announced the vacation period has been canceled in order to try and end the semester early and allow seniors to graduate from Chicago State. A spokesman for the family of a British tourist who went missing in Chicago, reporting the man's body has been found. Andrew Holmes says the mother of the tourist is crushed.
She didn't want to take her son back home like this.
The woman says her son was discovered yesterday at a rail yard on top of a retired train. He disappeared early on Saturday. 4 labor unions have filed suit against the Chicago suburb of Lincolnshire against a right-to-work ordinance there encouraged by Governor Rauner. Lincolnshire's ordinance creates right-to-work zones, barring labor contracts that require a company's employees to pay dues or join unions. A British developer who owns the Chicago Old Main Post Office building says he'll fight efforts by the Emanuel administration to seize the sprawling building by eminent domain. Bill Davies is the latest owner of that building, straddling Congress Parkway. He wants to float plans to convert it into office, retail, and condo space, but it's been abandoned. And a beer from the ancient world has been reborn thanks to the Field Museum. Archaeologists examining ceramics from an ancient brewing site in Peru have found residue of purple corn and moly berries. These were the secret ingredients, by the way, the Wari civilization used to give extra kick to the standard corn beer. And now you can enjoy it as the museum has teamed up with Chicago's Off Color Brewing to create a version of that recipe available as Wari Ale starting next month at the museum's Field Bistro and some select retailers. Chicago sports, college hoops last night. Our Northern Illinois Huskies fell in the MAC to Central Michigan, 76-64. The news, a service of Subway. Try the Subway Simple 6 menu. 6 meals, $6 each, including a 6-inch sub, like tuna, chips, and 21-ounce drink. Prices and participation may vary. Additional charges for extras, including deluxe subs, plus applicable tax. See stores for menu selections. A check of traffic and weather is on the way next on AM 560.
America right now is better off than it's ever been. Man, if I thought that, I wouldn't fight.
The Joe Walsh Show.
52% of young people would do away with the First Amendment. We have people being fined and threatened with jail time for exercising their religious freedom. Yes, I am a pessimist, but that's why I fight.
The Joe Walsh Show. Weeknights starting at 5. Right after Sean Hannity at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
Your company uses interior lighting 12 hours a day, 5 or more days a week. That's up to 40% of your energy costs. Now imagine huge immediate savings with worry-free replacement lights that fit in your current fluorescent fixtures. LED tube lighting with a 10-year warranty and up to 20-year useful life. Cost-conscious companies are converting now to cutting-edge revolutionary LED lighting. From factories and retail to office and residential, discover the benefits of quality manufactured LED lighting from Chicago's premier LED fluorescent replacement provider, Lights LLC. They're retrofit so there's no fixtures to replace. Made of safe, unbreakable plastic, they won't flicker and eliminate ballast buzz. Your employees will love them. To learn more, contact Lights LLC right now for a free lighting ROI analysis. Call Scott Moninger at 630-778-5002 or visit litesllc.com, 630-778-5002 or lightsllc.com. Lights is a proud Feed the Children business benefactor.
Control, this is QL1. Side hatch is secure. QL1, this is Control. We copy, showing normal cabin pressure. Over. Control, this is QL1. Do you like mortgages? That's a negative, QL1. Over. Control, do you like rockets? That's affirmative, QL1. Over. Do you like rocket mortgages? I'm listening. Over. Of course you are, Control. Everyone likes rockets. Control, Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans is the first on-demand mortgage machine that turns the entire mortgage process into a fast, powerful, completely online experience.
Copy that, QL1. I'm going to go ahead and push this button in.
3, 2, 1. Rocket Mortgage at QuickenLoans.com. Push button, get mortgage.
Rocket.
Visit for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLSconsumeraccess.org number 3030.
6:07 in our ChicagoRadioDeals.com traffic center. Here is Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. It's a real mess on the outbound Stevenson. It's jammed solid from Harlem Avenue to before 294. An overnight crash has 3 left lanes still blocked. The travel time from Lakeshore Drive to 355 is an hour and 5 minutes. Inbound 45 minutes, though 83 to pass the Tri-State with Gapers. Then Pulaski to Kedzie and State to Lakeshore Drive. Edens is still fine. The Kennedy, no significant delays yet. The Eisenhower, 31 minutes, Thorndale to downtown, outbound 32. The Ryan, 22 minutes, 95th to the Loop. I-57, just a little heavy approaching the merge. Bishop Ford, 23 minutes, 80-94 to the ride. Tollways are looking good. In Illinois, the Indiana Toll Road will have a high wind ban for high-profile loads from 11 o'clock this morning till 11 a.m. Thursday. 53 southbound at Beesterfield. There is a crash in the left lane. Traffic is a service of Stand Up to Cancer. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte. AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center. Let's get the very latest with meteorologist Kevin Snyder.
Winter storm warning in effect 9 a.m. this morning until 4 a.m. tomorrow. Lakeshore flood warning in effect noon until 4 a.m. tomorrow. Cloudy and windy today. Snow accumulating 1 to 3 inches. High 37. A bit of snow tonight. Windy with blowing and drifting snow. Low of 30. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560. The Answer.
We're at 35 right now at O'Hare. Next news coming up at 6:30. And Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560. The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Tasty Catering. Stop by and try their food before planning your awesome corporate event menu. Visit tastycatering.com.
Good morning. Welcome to your Wednesday morning briefing. Here's what you need to know to start your day.
Of course, if you listen to the pundits, we weren't expected to win too much, and now we're winning the country.
President Obama reignited the battle today over closing the U.S. prison at Guantanamo Bay.
It's been clear that the detention facility at Guantanamo Bay does not advance our national security. It undermines it.
This goes far beyond this single case or this single phone. And in fact, they're actually asking Apple to do something that would put millions of people's safety and security at risk.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. So, President Obama trying to keep a campaign promise with 91 detainees that remain at Gitmo to close Gitmo, close Guantanamo Bay, and transfer those detainees, meaning release them, or possibly move them to U.S. prisons.
Well, they'd take 35 and send them back, and 60 they'd place in U.S. prisons.
Yeah, so release.
They're not sure which ones.
Well, there's all kinds of problems. One is there's a federal law that prevents Gitmo detainees from being transferred to U.S. prisons, which is why President Obama didn't make mention of how he's going to do this. Is he going to do this by executive action yet again, or is he going to go through Congress? I think if he's going to do it, the only way it's going to happen is through executive action, which could, of course, be challenged, leveled up to the Supreme Court, and it could be number 14 in terms of the times the Supreme Court has overturned President Obama's executive action, the previous 13 times unanimously. It's worth noting. So that's one issue. The other issue is just the release of detainees who return to jihad, where we have troops deployed in theaters where these terrorists, these enemy combatants, would be trying to kill our men and women in uniform. I think that's worth noting.
Yeah, that is worth it. But he laid out 3 real reasons why he wants to close Gitmo, besides the campaign promise that he made in 2008.
Well, of course he didn't say that.
It damages America's reputation by keeping it open, that it encourages bad behavior, practically. It helps. It's used as a recruiting tool for terrorists. But my favorite is that it costs too much money. Obama doesn't care about entitlement programs or anything else. He brought up the money factor that we could save $65 to $80 million a year if we close Gitmo. Woo! Whoa, you go, Obama.
Yeah, that actually was the most comical.
That was great, wasn't it?
Rationale, the recruiting tool, not consistent with our values, and then Obama's renewed fiscal conservative disposition.
Look at me go. I care about money now.
Right. This is somebody who has more than doubled our national debt, adding $7.5 trillion to our national debt. And he's talking about how much Gitmo costs to keep open.
For many years, it's been clear that the detention facility at Guantanamo Bay does not advance our national security. It undermines it. This is not just my opinion. This is the opinion of experts. This is the opinion of many in our military. It's counterproductive to our fight against terrorists because they use it as propaganda in their efforts to recruit.
Yeah.
Now, is it?
Well, that
proven. I mean, is that that's the problem? Is that proven? I mean, do they really use Gitmo as a recruiting tool? Because they can use many things now as recruiting tools. And now that Apple won't open iPhones, ISIS is probably laughing at us right now. Like, oh, we could send any messages we want. We can do anything we want, and they won't catch us.
What's your take on maintaining Gitmo as a prison for enemy combatants? War on terror, these stateless terrorists. Should Gitmo be left open? Is the president right that it doesn't represent our values? It's a recruitment tool for ISIS. Everything that he opposes is a recruitment tool for ISIS. And that costs too much money. 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro. Answer line 64636-DA, turnkey.pro. Text line. And you can download the AM560 mobile app to communicate with us via the app as well. Maybe Mark Kirk, maybe he wants to weigh in on something like this. We certainly have a lot of Republican senators weighing in, not just presidential candidates, but Tim Scott and Corey from South Carolina, Cory Gardner, Colorado, Richard Burr, North Carolina, Kelly Ayotte in New Hampshire, Tom Cotton, Arkansas, all have suggested that the president's plan is DOA if it comes to Congress. But no one has offered more of a theatrical response than did Pat Roberts, the rather moderate senator from Kansas, who offered this response to what the president proposed in his remarks.
This is what I think of the president's plan to send terrorists to the United States.
That was him crumpling up the president's remarks and throwing it in the trash can.
Wow. Well, the mastermind behind 9/11, Khalid Sheikh Mohammed, where is he going to go? And do you want these prisoners in Illinois? Anywhere in Illinois? Because then the prison could be targeted for a terrorist attack or an escape plot by some crazy jihadist. I mean, it's a safety issue. I just don't see why in the world we would close Gitmo.
Well, we know as well, at least according to DHS data, that nearly a third of Gitmo detainees who have been transferred to other countries, released is what they've been is what has happened to them. They get transferred to locations like Sudan, which is run by a president indicted for war crimes and the Darfur genocide in Yemen.
They sent some to Sudan?
Yeah. So nearly a third return to the battlefield, return to jihad, return to terrorism. And it also includes, as I mentioned, putting our military men and women in harm's way, so that we know that. In addition, I mean, some return with a real flourish, with a real joie de vivre. For example, Sheikh al-Sudani, the Al-Qaeda in the Arabian Peninsula released a video in December featuring former Gitmo detainee Sheikh al-Sudani, who became one of the leaders of Al-Qaeda in the Arabian Peninsula upon his release. And you recall that Yemen was a great success story, according to President Obama, right up until it wasn't, right up until it descended into chaos and was beset by terrorist activity, in part led by al-Sudani, former Gitmo detainee. Is that a concern? No. Bill in DeKalb, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hey, don't forget that he's going to help the economy by bringing them all to the mainland. because when they come here, they're going to be afforded nice legal counsel, which is part of the left-wing base. And, by bringing them here, we're going to have to create more high-security jobs in federal government prisons also to do that also.
Yeah. Thanks for the call, Bill. You laugh at that. I mean, that's sarcastic, obviously. But I remember the discussion about Thompson, the federal prison in Thompson in Western Illinois. Yeah. Well, it's now a federal prison. It was sold to the federal government. But, yeah, this is building prisons or housing prisoners in prisons. That's what we call economic development. That's the Chicago model of economic development is Gitmo detainees in Western Illinois. That was one of the arguments Dick Durbin made.
Yes, and I spoke with Dick Durbin at length during that time. It was years ago, and he said, "Oh no, Amy," and he was all jumping out. "This is a great idea. We're going to bring them there. We're going to create jobs because we'll need guards, and then you'll have to set up hotels for people that are going to come visit the prisoners." I'm like, hotels? Really? You think they're going to be coming from overseas to visit their loved ones at a prison in Western Illinois? But here's the best. When it was time to go to trial, Dick Durbin actually thought it was a good idea to transfer them from Western Illinois all the way into the Dirksen Federal Building for their court hearing. Like, that could become a safety issue, don't you think? And he just poo-pooed that. Oh, no, they'll be fine. So they'll be in unmarked cars. No one will know where they are.
So it's just worth having a little institutional memory here and recalling these things because, on the one hand, you had the president previously suggesting one of the things we need to do to combat terrorism and is create jobs for them. We need to create jobs in the Arab world where the hotbeds of terrorism exist. So we need a jobs for terrorists program because that's all they're really looking for is that gateway job to get onto a career in metallurgy.
Yeah, well, there's a talk of sending most of the 60 prisoners to a prison in Colorado, and all the newspaper, who's okay with having Gitmo prisoners in Colorado? And people are sounding off and just letting people know, and their politicians, that they're not pleased with this.
Well, Senator Cory Gardner of Colorado is not on board with that. So jobs for terrorists, and then terrorists creating jobs in states like Illinois. That's the vision. That's job creation vision of Durbin and the left. So really, we need more terrorism so that we can create more jobs in job deserts like Illinois.
Who's going to get Khalid Sheikh Mohammed, huh?
Well, it'll be fierce competition. Jan in Evergreen Park, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hi, I think I have a solution for the cost. It'll just cost one bullet and shoot them. And the other thing it would do is stop them from going back and fighting again. And I think that would work better than just holding them up somewhere.
Well,
just get rid of them.
Yeah, thanks for the call, Jan. Well, again, in President Obama's newfound fiscal conservatism, there's 91 detainees, so that would be 91 bullets. You know how much 91 bullets cost?
Stop it.
George and Moni.
Hey, Dan, I had an epiphany yesterday. We all remember the Mariana boat lift, do we not?
We do.
Well, why don't we just turn them loose? Give them back a little, maybe some lovely parting gifts. I put a hand grenade and 5 gallons of diesel fuel. Send them out the door.
Well, wait a second. The Mariana boat lift brought all their criminals to Florida. We don't want to do that.
No, but we're turning our criminals loose there.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Oh.
Let them go live with the Castro brothers.
Exactly. Kill two birds with one stone. But they won't play. They'll just take care of it.
There you go, George. Thanks.
Connect with Dan and Amy using the AM560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Sure, everyone's paying attention to the weather because it's going to get nasty around here. In a few hours, it begins the snow, and we're going to be under a winter storm warning until 4 a.m. tomorrow morning. Anywhere from a foot out in northwest Indiana to 6 inches in downtown Chicago. And it's going to be windy, blowing snow by this afternoon, a high of 37 degrees. Then tonight, windy with a bit of snow. Again, roads will be slippery, they say, late at night, early in the morning. And tomorrow, breezy with considerable cloudiness, a high of 36 degrees. Calm before the storm, right, Jim Telemonte?
Well, yes, in most places, Amy, but not on the Stevenson. It's the storm before the storm. The outbound side is just a mess. From Harlem Avenue to before the Tri-State, an overnight crash had 3 left lanes blocked. Now only 1 left lane is closed, but it's an hour and 10 minutes from Lakeshore Drive to 355. Inbound, of course, we have Gapers starting before 83. The travel time is about 47 minutes from 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Eden still okay. The Kennedy, no more than a 1 or 2 minute delay either way yet. This Eisenhower looking at 34 minutes. Thorndale to downtown, outbound 33. Ryan, 22 minutes, 95th to the Loop, I-57, 20 minutes, I-80 to the merge, Bishop 420 as well. The Indiana Toll Road will have a ban for high-profile loads, 11 a.m. today till 11 a.m. tomorrow. 53 southbound slow from before Higgins to Feasterfield. Crash there in the 2 left lanes. I'm Jim Talamonte, ChicagoRadioDeals.com Traffic Center.
It's just nasty.
Saddle up and experience a taste of the West. I'm talking about the Ritz-Carlton Dove Mountain Resort in beautiful Tucson, Arizona. There are endless outdoor activities, tennis, horseback riding, of course, 20 miles of hiking and biking trails that are on the property. And everywhere you look, there's breathtaking views of the Sonoran Desert. Why? Because you're in it. If you're a golfer, it's the best course you can play in Arizona, according to Golf Digest. It's an authentic Southwest experience. It's perfect for a family vacation because there's water slides and a kids club. There's also an adults-only pool for those who want to take a romantic getaway. Direct flights in and out of O'Hare and Midway, and you can fly into Phoenix or into Tucson. 350 days of sunshine a year guaranteed. Right now, there's special rates and packages available for spring break, so go to ritzcarlton.com/Dove Mountain for all the details and book your spring break trip today. That's ritzcarlton.com/Dove Mountain.
Hi, I'm Tom Sadeka, President and CEO of Precision Payroll of America. We're the 32-year-old company whose first employee and first client are still working together. With me today is one heck of a great service partner.
Thanks, Tom. Hi, I'm Andrea Kashaba, owner of Tulane & Associates Accounting and Tax Services here in Elk Grove, servicing small businesses since 1986. I heard Precision Payroll ads years ago. I called on behalf of one of my clients. Tom came out, met with us. Since then, we've added 6 more clients and absolutely love working with Tom and Precision Payroll. As an accounting professional, I love having the connection with Precision Payroll as it makes serving my clients even easier.
Andrea, thanks for coming in and sharing our success story. You are awesome and a joy to work with. If you want to partner with us or work with us, call me directly at 630-242-1507. That's 630-242-1507. Or on the web at precisionpayroll.com.
Hi, I'm Lex Howard, CEO of Balance of Nature. I occasionally take new customer calls, and often people tell me that they have been hearing our advertisements for years. What are you waiting for? Start now and begin experiencing the benefits of Balance of Nature in your life.
I actually believe that it is working because I went to have my thyroid TSH level checked and my T3 and 4, and in October originally it was at 3. My TSH was at 3.28, and Monday's test came out to 0.63. I do believe that it has something to do with it.
Good health is just a phone call away. What are you waiting for? Call now and take the health challenge to get a free month's supply of Balance of Nature. Call 1-800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code CHICAGO.
AM 560, The Answer.
So our friend John Kasich, also known as Therapist in Chief, Stephen Hayes called him that last night on Fox News Channel because he said all he does at these town halls, because he followed him to a few of his speaking engagements, is just talk about people's problems and how are you feeling. And it's more of a counseling session than it is I'm going to win, I'm going to be your next president of the United States. And one of his audience members yesterday, Dan, called him out on that.
My question to you is, John Kasich, when are you going to live out your purpose Thursday night when you have the national stage? What are you going to do to stick it to Trump, stick it to Rubio, and live out your purpose? Hey,
I'm talking to you. It's Kasich.
Just like you mentioned Novak Djokovic, top competitor in his sport, it's time to take the gloves off and be the top competitor in your sport.
Well, I know how a lot of people feel. First of all, I don't know if my purpose is to be president. My purpose is to be out here doing what I think I need to be doing, and we'll see where it ends up. And if it's not this crusade, it'll be another one, and maybe it'll be a really small one somewhere in my kid's school. Who knows? Because it doesn't matter the size of the crusade, it's the fact that you are in a crusade.
And the guy, when the audience member was going, hey, I'm talking to you, because John Kasich turned his back on him when he asked him to fight back. And, where's the fire in your belly?
Waxing philosophic, John Kasich. Interesting. One of the other interesting things Kasich said, just in terms of people thinking, well, is he going to stick through March 15th to get to Ohio, where he is down 5 points to Trump right now? That would be kind of embarrassing to lose to some state. But in terms of the obsession that everyone has with talking about the race consolidating further, by the way, that's something that people don't care about, Republican primary voters. Is there 4? Is there 5? Everybody should get out. This is something where it's an echo chamber of the punditocracy, and why Rubio is talking about this is, to me, a complete mistake. Kasich was asked about that. He said, I can win my home state. Why would I clear the decks for them? They ought to be consolidating around me. So the politics of it is such that, yes, would it benefit mostly Rubio if Kasich was out and maybe supporting Rubio? If Rubio and Kasich could cut a deal and say Kasich's going to be my VP nominee if I get there, something to shake up the race, it would benefit Rubio. Is it going to happen? I don't think so. If it did happen, does it provide enough benefit with the trajectory of the race at this point? That is not at all clear. The people that are just waiting and waiting for this race to consolidate, you're going to wake up on March 16th waiting for the race to consolidate further, and Trump is going to have a runaway delegate lead and so much momentum behind him. He is going to be unstoppable. All of this kind of political operative talk from candidates is so misplaced. And frankly, Kasich, waxing philosophic, is at least a higher level of conversation than we're getting from those that would depose Donald Trump.
Hear about the big stories of the day, then talk about them right here on Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Business moves at the speed of trust. Trust in your product, and just as imperative, trust in those that represent your business. For almost 3 decades, Flex Execs has helped their clients become more competitive by recruiting and vetting qualified experts for short-term assignments in HR, accounting, marketing, and operations. Need individual consultants or project teams from staff level to the executive suite? Flex Exec's talented consultants are superior and unmatched. Whether you require interim experts or have regular positions to fill, Flex Exec's professional recruiting organization will help you meet your deadlines, control costs, and place the people you need for maximum business results. Business moves at the speed of trust. Trust the people that represent your business. You can't afford not to. Connect online with Flex Execs at flex2016.com or call Chris at 630-655-0563, extension 2. Flex2016.com or call Chris at 630-655-0563, extension 2.
A huge snowstorm is coming, so why don't you book your trip and get away, get out of the snow and cold, and come with Dan and Amy as we head south to Los Cabos, Mexico. We're leaving Saturday, April 2nd through the 9th, Saturday to Saturday. Our trip is presented by Dermatology and Plastic Surgery Associates and by Artistic Dentistry. Now, our good friends at Apple Vacations have secured a price. It is expired, but there's still seats on the plane. So if you want to join us in Cabo, do it right now. We're staying at Secrets Puerto Los Cabos. Golf and Spa Resort. I love Secrets. It's adults only, all-inclusive, all-suites resort. Beautifully well-appointed rooms. There's 8 restaurants with award-winning chefs at the helm. 4 bars, 1 cigar bar for Dan, so you can smoke and drink all day with Dan after you golf and walk them 3 miles of pristine beaches. I've got a whole plan. Flat tax seminar at the pool on Sunday. Kidding. So book your trip today. Visit. That'll get them. Visit 560theanswer.com, keyword escape, 560theanswer.com, keyword escape. Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
The Department of Justice trying to help persons here illegally vote. We'll talk to Hans Van Spakovsky at 6:36.
But first, let's go back into the newsroom and say hello to Mike Scott.
Snow is falling across the southern portions of the Chicago area right now, some of it heavy. As you roll into northwest Indiana, winds out of the north at 18 miles an hour, cloudy and 35. Donald Trump, the big winner in another early voting contest. The GOP frontrunner riding a wave of Nevada Republican caucus goer support.
And we've had some great numbers coming out of Texas. And amazing numbers coming out of Tennessee and Georgia and Arkansas And then in a couple of weeks later, Florida. We love Florida.
Florida Senator Marco Rubio locking down a second-place finish in last night's Nevada caucuses. He commented while campaigning in Grand Rapids, Michigan last night.
I never would have even been in this race had it been for the establishment. They were against me when I ran for Senate. They were against me when I started this campaign. I've had $40 million of establishment money used against me in negative ads, and yet we're still standing.
Rubio edging out Texas Senator Ted Cruz. Democrat candidate Hillary Clinton says President Obama is right for trying to close Guantanamo Bay.
You know, the facts are that every single time somebody has hurled these charges against me, which they have done, it's proved to be nothing. And this is no different than that.
In a CNN town hall event. At least 3 are dead, dozens hurt after tornadoes ripped through the southeast, damage from Louisiana into the Florida panhandle. The Justice Department says they want Apple's help in unlocking now 9 iPhones in criminal investigations. Lawyers for Apple say the company is fighting the government's demand in at least 7 of those cases. Rescuers have found the wreckage of a twin-engine plane carrying 23 that crashed in bad weather into a mountainside in central Nepal. All of those on board, including 2 foreigners, are confirmed dead. A motorist is dead after colliding with a semi on the Stevenson Expressway this early morning, the crash happening near Hodgkins. Students at Chicago State University have no spring break this year. The school announcing as a money-saving item, vacation period normally scheduled in the spring, canceled due to the budget crisis. They'll try and end the semester early in order to allow seniors to graduate. City of Chicago officials say they're expanding the demolition of 3 vacant buildings located in an area riddled with crime. Chicago Police and the Department of Buildings say they began demolition of the buildings Tuesday. The structures are located in the West Pullman neighborhood. Mayor Rahm Emanuel says the demolitions are one way to fight gang activity and crime. Chicago sports, NBA tonight. Bulls take on Washington. The news service of Boys and Girls Clubs of America. It's 3 p.m. School's out for America's kids. And when school is out, clubs are in. It's time to support the Boys and Girls Clubs of America. Visit greatfutures.org. 6:34, time to check the climate of your business with aircomfort.com. 80 years of quality mechanical solutions for your business. 6:34, and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Each year, the month of March is all about the madness. This year, as the number of candidates dwindles and the delegate count climbs, the remaining candidates will meet for one final debate. And AM 560 is hosting the final debate watch party of the primary season. Join us for March to the White House, a Republican debate watch party presented by Innovative Networks on Thursday, March 10th at Austin's Fuel Room in Libertyville. Tickets are just $25 and include an all-you-can-eat buffet. Visit 560theanswer.com/March. Sponsored in part by DS Arms.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Papa Nicholas Coffee. Papa Nicholas Coffee, roasted fresh daily in Batavia, Illinois. Winter weather is here, and this season's roller coaster ride and temperatures can be especially taxing on your business's mechanical HVAC system. That's why it's important to schedule a comprehensive review of your system today with Air Comfort, Chicagoland's leading mechanical professionals. For more than 80 years, Air Comfort has maintained hundreds of businesses' HVAC systems throughout Chicagoland and Northwest Indiana. Why do they trust their mechanical systems to Air Comfort? It's simple. Because they understand that Air Comfort has the best trained and highly skilled team of award-winning technicians. That's why Air Comfort is recognized as an MSCA Star Contractor, a designation achieved by only 2% of contractors nationwide. With a large service fleet of more than 80 fully equipped vehicles, chances are that an Air Comfort technician is nearby. Schedule your system check by calling now, 708-345-1900, or online at aircomfort.com.
6:36. Let's get an update on the roads in our ChicagoRadioDeals.com traffic center. The latest with Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. Southbound 53 has delays from before Higgins to Beesterfield. There's a crash there in the left lane, and northbound it's heavy, Thorndale to Beesterfield. Edens is 23 minutes, Lake Hook to Montrose, outbound 19. The Kennedy, 24 minutes, O'Hare to downtown, outbound 22. The Eisenhower, 40 minutes, Thorndale to the post office, outbound 35. Stevenson, an outbound crash before the Tri-State has moved to the left shoulder So it's an hour and 5 minutes. It's actually an improvement. Lakeshore Drive to 355. Inbound, it's 49 minutes, with the delay starting before Lamont Road. Ryan, 22 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57, 23 minutes. I-80 to the merge. Bishop 420. Traffic is service. The Foundation for a Better Life. Mr. Rogers passed along friendship, hoping we would too. Friendship, pass it on. From the Foundation for a Better Life at values.com. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte, AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center. 80 years of quality mechanical solutions for your business. Cloudy, windy, colder. Winter storm warning is up for the Chicago area of northwest Indiana. A blizzard warning and a high of 37. Overnight, a low of 30. 35 at O'Hare. Winds out of the north at 21 miles an hour. Next news at 7. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by the Lou Bridges Show. Get foreclosure defense solutions that may save your home. Saturday mornings at 8 on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues now. And make sure to stay tuned to catch me, Mike Gallagher, coming up at 9, only on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. So, Amy, the Department of Justice, they're charged with enforcing the law.
Right.
Part of the. Yeah.
Loretta Lynch is in charge.
Attorney
She's the
General.
number one attorney in the country.
Right. Yeah, chief law enforcement
Pretty
officer.
big job, yeah.
So it's a bit curious when they're going to federal district court to suggest that the law not be enforced. That apparently the irony is lost in the Department of Justice. This is very interesting. This is related to a case where states like Alabama, Georgia, Kansas require proof of citizenship when individuals, residents of those states, register to vote.
Mm-hmm.
And this is being challenged by the NAACP, the League of Women Voters, and the Justice Department. And so the question is, do states, per the Constitution, they do have the right to make the resident designations for their electors. Do states have this power, or do they not? Are things like voter ID or proof of citizenship to register, are they unconstitutional? And the Department of Justice doesn't seem to want to defend the law. It's a little bit complicated, and so why don't we bring on our friend Hans von Spakovsky, who is a manager of Heritage Foundation's Election Law Reform Initiative, to help us distill this case and its implications. Hans, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
Dan, Amy, thanks for having me back.
So kind of lay out the case that has been brought by the NAACP, the League, and the U.S. Justice Department with respect to these states that have proof of citizenship requirements for voter registration.
Sure. There's a federal voter registration form that people can use if they don't want to use their own state's form. And that form, there's an agency in Washington called the U.S. Election Assistance Commission, and they're the ones in charge of that agency.
That's the motor voter form.
That's exactly right. And so these states, Kansas and the others, when they pass state laws saying you got to provide proof of citizenship when you register to vote, they sent a request to that federal agency and said, listen, would you please change the instructions on the form on your website to let residents of our states know that when they use the federal form to register, they're also going to have to provide proof of citizenship. Well, about 3 weeks ago, the agency said, okay, we'll change the instructions. And immediately, the NAACP and a host of other leftist groups, frankly, sued and said, no, you can't do that. You can't allow these states to verify citizenship of people who are registering to vote. And they asked for a restraining order to prevent this agency from doing it. And this past Monday, they had a hearing at a federal court in Washington. And the Justice Department, its job is to defend federal agencies in court. To the shock of everyone, of course I wasn't surprised, they came in on Monday on the side of the NAACP and the League of Women Voters. And instead of doing their duty to defend the agency, they came in saying, no, we agree with the plaintiffs and we're willing to do whatever they want.
Well, wait a second. So how is the Department of Justice representing both the plaintiffs and the defendants in a case? Isn't that kind of an inherent conflict?
Oh, it sure is. And let me tell you, the judge, Judge Richard Leon, he was obviously dismayed and shocked at what was going on in his courtroom. He gave a dressing down to the Justice Department lawyers that I've never seen before in court, and he in essence said that he had never seen such behavior in his entire legal career and all of his time on the bench. Late yesterday, the judge issued an order refusing to grant the temporary restraining order. In essence, look, the Justice Department went into court doing their best to try to lose the case, and what happened was the judge wouldn't let them do that.
Wow. So doesn't it, by law, you have to be a United States citizen in order to vote, correct?
That is exactly right. In fact, it's a felony under federal law if you register and vote if you're not a U.S. citizen.
And is proof, I mean, how do you bring in proof of, citizenship? A driver's license isn't enough?
A birth certificate, naturalization papers, a passport, and Kansas has a whole list of other documents, too. Listen, it's not any different. Remember, the federal government has exactly the same requirement for employers. You can't get a job with any employer in the country unless you prove that you're either a U.S. citizen by bringing in documents, or you show that you're a non-citizen but you're legally here and you got a work permit.
And so the argument is made, and it was I watched a little exchange between Juan Williams and some folks on Fox News Channel last night. The argument is made, this is all just an effort by vast right-wingers in some of these states to disenfranchise minority voters, to suppress the vote. It is unconstitutional. It's not like welfare benefits or other non-constitutional rights that American citizens have with respect to the right to vote. That's what makes it qualitatively different. And so these proof of citizenship requirements to register or a ID to vote, they're unconstitutional and discriminatory.
That's a foolish argument. First of all, the U.S. Supreme Court in 2008 said that requiring an ID is perfectly constitutional. And it's not qualitatively different because, for example, if you want to exercise your Second Amendment right to buy a gun, you're not going to get one unless you come in with a government-issued ID, and they do a quick background check on you. If you stay in hotels, if you board an airplane, they always require a government-issued photo ID. Your right to travel in this country, that is also a fundamental right. We established that, remember, during the Civil Rights Movement in the 1960s.
Yeah.
So, Hans, where does it go from here? I mean, Super Tuesday is less than a week away.
The judge refused to issue the temporary restraining order that the plaintiffs and DOJ wanted. They also asked for a preliminary injunction, which is a longer order keeping the status quo. He set March 9th as a date for the hearing, and he very pointedly told the Justice Department, I expect you to come in here and fully defend this agency instead of trying to throw the case.
Well, thinking about the implications of this with respect to this election, is it fair to say, or is it just right-wing propaganda to say, this is an effort by some groups to provide a pathway for persons that are here illegally that do not have a right to vote to vote?
No, that's exactly what's going on, and there have been numerous other examples of this administration and these groups trying to make it easy for non-citizens to register, to vote, and to not get caught or prosecuted for it. If we had more time, I could give you all kinds of examples of them doing this.
All right. He is Hans von Spakovsky. He's the Election Law Reform Initiative honcho over at the Heritage Foundation, senior legal fellow there as well. Hans, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate your time.
Sure, anytime.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
It's news, opinion, insight. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Big storm coming our way. Winter storm warning in effect beginning at 9 a.m. this morning, and it ends at 4 a.m. tomorrow. We're going to have a lot of snow, blowing snow, windy conditions. It's just going to be dangerous out there. In Northwest Indiana, they could have a foot of snow. Here in Chicago, about 6 inches, and the more north you go, the less accumulations. O'Hare is predicted to have about 3 inches of snow, a high today of 37 degrees. Let's see how the inbound Stevenson is doing. Here's Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Amy. It's getting heavier everywhere. On the Stevenson, there was an overnight crash outbound before the Tri-State Tollway, and this has caused delays in both directions. On the bright side, this crash on the outbound side has moved to the left shoulder. The travel time holding at about an hour and 5 minutes from Lakeshore Drive to 355. Delay started central. Inbound, the Gapers delay starts before Lamont Road, looking at 52 minutes from 355 to Lakeshore Drive, 38 from the Tri-State. Edens, 23 minutes, Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 20. The Kennedy, 31 minutes, O'Hare to downtown, outbound 27. The Eisenhower, now 40 minutes, Thorndale to downtown, outbound 35. The Rhine is 22 minutes, 95th to the Loop. Northbound Tri-State heavy, Reagan Tollway to 290, 53 southbound stop and go from before the Adams Tollway to Beesterfield with a crash in the left lane. Northbound slow Thorndale to Beesterfield. At O'Hare, now of an update, there are more than 100 flights canceled for today. Some of those are this morning. There are also delays for flights that are coming and going due to those winds. Midway now has about 30 cancellations today. Jim Talamonte, ChicagoRadioDeals.com, Traffic Center.
I'm Lou Dobbs. Saudi Arabia's oil minister says production cuts won't boost crude oil prices. And Time Inc. is apparently interested in Yahoo and the latest economic reports for investors to consider. All of that next.
Imagine the alarm clock goes off and you spring out of bed raring to get to work. Why? Because you own the business and what you make and create is yours. You've dreamt of owning a business for years, but still haven't taken action to make your dream a reality. There are no more excuses. This is the year you become an entrepreneur. Speak to us here at ursop.com. URSOP stands for Entrepreneur Rollover Stock Ownership Plan. We've helped thousands of people use their retirement money to invest in businesses for themselves and their family. It takes only a couple of weeks to finance, it's pre-approved, and it's totally legal. And then 3, 4, 5 years later, you'll put the retirement funds back and have the corporation carry on by itself. You have the business and the security of retirement funds, too. Call URSOP at 866-MY-URSOP. That's 866-MYERSOP. 866-MY-URSOP. Invest in yourself. 866-MY-URSOP. That's 866-MYERSOP.
As crude oil prices continue to drive market swings, Saudi Arabia's oil minister says production cuts won't boost crude oil prices. Instead, the minister says the market should be allowed to work even if that forces some operators out of business. He did, however, endorse a freeze on production at the current level if major producing countries can agree to go along. Reuters reporting that Time Inc. has been exploring a bid to buy Yahoo's core internet business. Just last week, Yahoo officially launched the sale of its search, mail, news, and other sites. Verizon Communications also interested in Yahoo's core business. Today we'll have the latest data on new home sales, the Purchasing Managers Index, and weekly information on petroleum inventories. Please join me for Lou Dobbs tonight at 7 and 11 Eastern on the Fox Business Network. This is the Lou Dobbs Financial Report.
On AM 560 The Answer, we talk about the important issues that affect your world. Things like the economy, education, and foreign policy. There's always so much going on in the news that we don't always have the time to drill down and talk about the big ideas behind the big issues. That's where Upstream Ideas comes in. Upstream Ideas, online at upstream-ideas.com, in partnership with the Illinois Policy Institute, provides the kind of information that informs the policy discussions happening here on AM 560. At Upstream Ideas, you'll broaden the debate, move beyond partisan assumptions, and challenge accepted orthodoxies. In other words, Upstream Ideas goes against the current and thinks upstream. Go online now to upstream-ideas.com. That's upstream-ideas.com. You'll be armed with new information and fresh perspectives to spur you on to make the state of Illinois and the United States of America a bit more free, a bit more just, and a bit more civilized. Upstream-ideas.com.
Having a great smile to show off makes you feel good. There's no embarrassment associated with being able to flash your pearly whites whenever you want. If you'd like to feel that comfort and confidence with your smile, there's only one person who can help you. Dr. Neruzzi of Fox River Periodontics.
This is Brian DeWolf. I have 2 implants from Fox River Periodontics. I had one, I was happy with it, so I had another one done, and I love them. The idea of dentures didn't appeal to me at all. I didn't want that appliance in my mouth. These implants are wonderful. They're just like your real teeth. and they're probably even better because there's no nerve attached to them, so there's no pain, and they'll last forever. Dr. Neruzzi is great, and his staff is wonderful, and I trust him completely. If you're looking for dental implants, or considering dental implants for a missing tooth or for a whole mouthful, talk to Dr. Neruzzi. He'll be happy you did, and Fox River Periodontics.
This is Dr. Neruzzi. I personally guarantee your happiness with your implants. Go to implantsforme.com.
If you're talking about it, I'll be talking about it. Dennis Prager here. Join me this morning at 11, right here on AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, we're talking about voter registration laws, and Department of Justice, along with NAACP and League of Women Voters, trying to make it easier for persons here illegally to commit felonies, which is to register to vote and vote, which is a felony under federal law. But it helps Democrats. So
how many times do you vote?
A lot doesn't matter.
Oh, sorry. How many times do you vote?
I vote once.
Okay.
I'm a law-abiding citizen.
Congratulations.
And a great American.
There you go.
Thank you. Ralph and Rantoul.
We'll be right back.
Yes.
Yes.
Good morning. We could solve a number of things with just a few changes. We could solve part of the illegal immigration problem. The borders are open because they want people for their votes. Just let them vote from wherever they are in the world. Internet voting. They don't even need to come here to vote. If they're interested parties, they can vote. Just log on. And why just limit it to people? Why sentient beings? Why can't farm animals? Or maybe hedge fund computers? We could get hundreds of billions of votes in just mere seconds.
I like high-frequency voting. I like that.
Sure, why not? The people with the best algorithms will win.
Thanks for the call, Ralph. Speaking of changes, back in 1982, Amy, you'll recall, Kennesaw, Georgia, passed an ordinance requiring gun ownership. Every resident of Kennesaw, Georgia must own a gun. Now, it's not enforced.
But is it heavily suggested?
Well, it was a municipal ordinance, so it's more than suggested. Now this story, the owner of Lance Toland Associates in Griffin, Georgia.
What do they do?
Aviation insurance.
Okay. Very dangerous job.
Well,
I mean, really. You might get jumped any minute.
Well, you have high-profile owners of planes and stuff, private planes.
That's true.
You're used to that. You fly around in private planes. You know what it's like.
I did back in the day.
The owner of Lance Toland Associates in Griffin, Georgia, now requiring all of his employees to get a concealed carry license and be armed. Requiring as like a condition of employment. What do you think about that?
How are you? Let me see your holster.
Well, yeah.
Let me see what's in your holster.
After each employee at his firm gets their license, their concealed carry license, Toland presents them with a gun known as the Judge. I know that gun. 5-shot 410.
The Judge pistol, yeah.
That's a great gun. He says that it's one of the most effective self-defense weapons, and all his aviation insurance agencies carry them openly in the office.
That's a nice gift.
Yeah. Toland said all of his employees had their concealed carry permit within 3 or 4 weeks of me announcing that this was something you had to do. I have a number of offices. Most of my employees are women. As long as they're willing to get and one of his employees said, a woman said, one of his agents, as long as they're willing to get the training to become an expert, and if you pull it out, you have to be ready to use it. She's talking about a gun. Toland said several high-profile business owners who have private plans he insures may follow his lead, reporting a lot of my clients are high-fiving me when they hear this. They think it's the best thing for a company to mandate gun ownership and be responsible. And Toland said this is in part a response to a spat of home invasions and violent crime in the metro Atlanta area. And so that's why he came up with this office mandate. I think, look, it's nice to see Lance Toland Associates follow the lead of Salem, whereas... Salem. Well, I mean, as everyone knows here at AM 560, The Answer, we all carry. We all carry openly.
I don't have a CCW yet, so I'm law-abiding. I can't bring in my piece. But when I can, you'll know.
Yes, that's right.
University of Texas, by the way, they're allowing concealed carry now, too, on campus.
I know.
So that's in the plus column for Peyton and Eli.
Because as we know, Amy.
That's who we know, Dan.
An armed society
is a safer society.
Is a civil.
Oh, I'm sorry, a civil society.
Yes, you like talking like a Boston Brahmin, don't you?
We'll be right back.
Listen to podcasts of Dan and Amy from the AM 560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
The stock market seems like it's in turmoil. 2016 has already proven to be a roller coaster ride. Is there another big correction on the horizon? Are you prepared? Or are you at the mercy of stockbrokers if it does happen? Let Online Trading Academy teach you how to navigate the stock market during these changing times. They offer professional trading and investing education for every skill level. They'll teach you a rules-based strategy, trading on knowledge, not speculations, so you can identify market changes before they happen. Online Trading Academy has a state-of-the-art educational facility centrally located in Lombard. Call today, 888-601-TRADE. That's 888-601-8723 to attend a free half-day course. Call now and mention you heard this message on AM 560 The Answer, and they'll send you home with a free home video study course valued at $247 just for attending. This is a great opportunity to learn from the pros. Reservations are limited, so call now, 888-601-8723 or online at freeotaclass.com.
More than 50 years ago, a respected establishment opened in Lake County, Illinois. What started as a hobby to Mike Schrank has served generations of firearm customers that are treated like family. Schrank's Smoke and Gun retains that family atmosphere, and they now carry the largest selection of new, used, and consignment firearms in Lake County.
We need 5 judges in this studio. Stat from Mike Schrank.
Over 800, including pistols, rifles, shotguns, plus hard-to-find calibers and ammunitions. Even collectibles, older functioning hunting rifles, and full gunmanship services are at Mike Schrank's Smoke and Gun. Whether you're thinking about your first firearm or a FOID card or looking to add to your collection, now's the perfect time to discover Schrank's. Every store-owned firearm is up to 40% off during the annual store-wide sale now through the 27th. So if you love cigars, you'll find your favorites in Schrank's humidors. Visit smoke_gun.org or call 847-662-4034. Schrank's Smoke and Gun in Waukegan, your family-owned gun store since 1964. That's 847-662-4034. Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
We visit with Fred Barnes, executive editor of the Weekly Standard at 7:07. Can Trump be stopped? No.
But first, let's go back into the newsroom, yes, and say hello to Mike Stott.
Here are the stories we're watching today. A big winter storm expected to hit parts of the Chicago area. Northwest suburbs will likely see an inch or less of snow. Down to northwest Indiana, where up to 12 inches of snow could fall with 40-mile-an-hour winds. The body of a missing British tourist has been found. We'll get reaction to that discovery. Mental fitness is an issue set to come up at a terrorism-related hearing here in Chicago. Field Museum archaeologists and a brewer recreate an ancient beer. And tonight in the NBA, the Bulls take on Washington. Cloudy and windy and a winter storm warning up for the area. A blizzard warning for northwest Indiana. WIND Chicago News Time is 7 o'clock.
This is a Fox News alert. I'm Dave Anthony. They showed up to caucus in record numbers, and Nevada Republicans chose Donald Trump.
I'm very proud of you. This is an amazing night.
He got 46% of the vote, more than Marco Rubio and Ted Cruz combined. Fox's Jessica Rosenthal live in Las Vegas.
And Dave, Donald Trump won easily and, as you just said, by a lot. And he noted that he won across all groups, too, including Latinos.
We're going to have our borders nice and strong. We're going to build the wall. You know that. Going to build the wall.
But Ted Cruz, who finished third right behind Marco Rubio, said it's not over. Remember Iowa?
The only campaign that has beaten Donald Trump and the only campaign that can beat Donald Trump is this campaign.
Now, Rubio wasn't here Tuesday night, but when asked this morning if he actually needs to win a state, he said this is about racking up delegates, and it appears that while he came in second, both he and Cruz will get the same number of delegates here in Nevada, Dave.
Now, Jessica, next up for Republicans, Super Tuesday next week. The next Democratic primary Saturday in South Carolina.
I'm not a psychoanalyst, and boy, would a psychoanalyst have an interesting time with Donald Trump.
Bernie Sanders at a CNN town hall forum said Trump led a racist effort to try to delegitimize President Obama, questioning his U.S. birth certificate. Some people have nothing left in tornado torn apart Louisiana.
It's hard to describe. You're sitting in there 1 minute playing on the video game. Next thing you know, your house is gone.
2 people were killed as mobile homes were ripped apart in St. James Parish. Dozens more were injured. Another person died when a twister hit Mississippi, and there was damage in Pensacola, Florida. A winter storm in the Midwest from Missouri to Michigan could be a blizzard in parts of Illinois and Indiana today. 23 people are dead after a plane crashed in Nepal.
family members weep at an airport in Nepal. The Twin Otter plane found crashed in a mountainous area. Nepal's government saying contact was lost as the plane headed to the town of Jomson.
That's Fox's Alistair Wanklin. Fox News Radio. Fair and balanced.
Cloudy, 35 degrees, winds north-northeast at 20 miles an hour, whipping up quite a large wave action coming into the Oak Street Beach this morning on Lakeshore Drive, and snow showers are already falling heavily across the area. Good morning, I'm Mike Scott. The National Weather Service predicting heavy snow in the southern portions of Cook County, up to 6 inches there. And a blizzard warning is up for Lake and Porter County in Indiana. Already schools from Beecher and Peatone on the Illinois side of the border to Hobart and Lake Central Indiana schools are closed, among many others, already today. A motorist is dead after colliding with a semi on the Stevenson Expressway. The crash happening early this morning in Hodgkins. The truck driver was not hurt. All southbound lanes for a time of I-55 were closed. No spring break for students at Chicago State University. The school canceling the vacation period in order to speed up the semester and end before the school runs out of money so seniors can graduate. Federal judge is expected to address the mental fitness of a suburban Chicago terrorist suspect who has spoken about elaborate conspiracies to get him. Today's status hearing follows Judge Sharon Johnson Coleman's order in January that Adel Daoud be temporarily committed to a U.S. medical center in North Carolina for psychological testing. A spokesman for the family of a British tourist who went missing in Chicago is reporting the man's body has been found. Andrew Holmes says the mother of Adimula Owalana is crushed by the discovery.
She didn't want to take her son back home like this.
Owalana was discovered yesterday at a rail yard on top of a retired train. Disappeared early Saturday after leaving a club in the city. And a Cook County judge's ruling could signal big problems for Mayor Emanuel and the city of Chicago because it declares thousands of red light and speed camera tickets void. Judge Kathleen Kennedy's decision keeps alive a 5-year-old lawsuit that claims the city's ticketing practices violate the due process rights of those getting the tickets because a second notice of violation was not sent. The ruling indicates that plaintiffs could win that suit and could force the city to nullify thousands of tickets issued since 2003 and refund tens of millions of dollars in fines and penalties. Chicago sports, college hoops last night. Our Northern Illinois Huskies shot 36% from the field, lost to Central Michigan in the MAC 76-64. Evansville topped Bradley in the Valley. And the news a service of Think It Up. 7:04 is our time. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
You don't win by accident.
It's the Dave Ramsey Show.
So this is your year to win. You don't get out of debt. You don't save your marriage by accident. You don't increase the quality of your marriage by accident. You don't raise great kids accidentally. These are intentional acts that you make choices on the variables in your environment and you form and control your life.
Make the most of your money and get out of debt. He's Dave Ramsey, tonight at 7 on AM 560. The Answer.
The big Home and Garden Expo that Bob Vila promotes is coming to the Tinley Park Convention Center March 5th and 6th. If you're looking to remodel your kitchen, bathroom, basement, or maybe get a new roof, flooring, windows, or a new deck, then this is the event for you. At this 2-day expo, you'll meet local and national contractors displaying their products and services. Get fresh ideas, set up estimates, and talk directly with contractors, many of which are offering huge discounts. Enhance your landscaping and beautify your yard with Ted's Greenhouse, offering a wide variety of the finest plants in the area. Find everything you need for your home under one roof. Special announcement. Design expert Kelly Edwards of HGTV's Design on a Dime will be presenting both days, Saturday and Sunday, March 5th and 6th from 12 to 1 p.m. and giving away cash and prizes. Don't miss the big Home and Garden Expo coming March 5th and 6th to the Tinley Park Convention Center. For more information, please visit homeshowevent.com. That's homeshowevent.com.
QL1, this is Control. Does Rocket Mortgage require me to fill out a bunch of paperwork?
That's negative Control. Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans is the first on-demand mortgage machine that quickly and seamlessly imports your financial data. You can go through the entire mortgage process on your own and completely online.
Copy that, QL1, but if I wanted to speak to someone, do you think they're out there?
They're out there all right. I've made contact before. In fact, according to J.D. Power, they've provided award-winning client service for 6 years in a row.
Roger that, QL1. It's nice to know they're out there, wherever they are.
Detroit Control. They're in Detroit. Over.
3, 2, 1.
Rocket Mortgage at QuickenLoans.com. Push button, get mortgage.
Rocket.
Visit for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLSConsumerAccess.org number 3030.
7:07 in our ChicagoRadioDeals.com traffic center. Here is Jim Talamonte.
Mike, due to high winds and the incoming storm, hundreds of flights at O'Hare have already been canceled today, dozens at Midway. Eden's inbound, 22 minutes. Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 21. The Kennedy, now 34 minutes. O'Hare to downtown, outbound 28. The Eisenhower's 45 minutes. Thorndale to downtown, and outbound 47. The Stevenson, 55 minutes, 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound an hour after an overnight crash before the Tri-State. The left shoulder still blocked. The Ryan, 22 minutes, 95th to downtown, northbound Tri-State. Slow from the Reagan Tollway to the Ike. Adams Tollway, heavy, Roselle to 53. Baton Rouge Memorial, stop and go. Army Trail up to Beesterfield, where southbound it's all tied up. Algonquin to Beesterfield with a crash in the left lane. The Indiana Toll Road imposes a high wind ban at 11 this morning for high-profile loads. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte, AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the AirComfort.com Weather Center, aircomfort.com. 80 years of quality mechanical solutions for your business. Here's our meteorologist, Kevin Snyder.
A winter storm warning in effect from 9 a.m. this morning until 4 a.m. tomorrow, and a lakeshore flood warning in effect from noon today until 4 a.m. tomorrow. Cloudy, windy, and colder with snow beginning, accumulating 1 to 3 inches, high today 37. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
Cloudy and 35 right now, winds north-northeast at 21 miles an hour. Next news at 7:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Real Estate Revealed with Randy Barcella. Heard each and every Sunday at 8 a.m. on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning. Welcome to your Wednesday morning briefing. Here's what you need to know to start your day.
Of course, if you listen to the pundits, we weren't expected to win too much, and now we're winning the country.
President Obama reignited the battle today over closing the U.S. prison at Guantanamo Bay.
It's been clear that the detention facility at Guantanamo Bay does not advance our national security. It undermines it.
This goes far beyond this single case or this single phone. And in fact, they're actually asking Apple to do something that would put millions of people's safety and security at risk.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning. What up, Dan and Amy? You know, Amy, politics can be tough.
Well, it can be emotional.
It can be hurtful.
Yeah. People are scared.
Yeah, and in advance of bringing Fred Barnes on, who's very much a John Kasich conservative, warm and embracing.
Does he give hugs? Are we going to hug it out here?
Well, I'm
ready.
Maybe a rhetorical hug, because we need a hug for Chelsea.
Oh yeah, poor little Chelsea.
This is going to go viral. This is Chelsea. Hi, I'm Chelsea. For a Bernie Sanders phone banker.
Yeah, and this is her first time. She recently registered to vote, and she's a volunteer, and she spent all day on the phone talking to people, and she did not like what she heard, Dan, because a lot are Trump supporters.
Right. So you Trump supporters, you think about Chelsea when and her experience when you decide whether or not to continue supporting Donald Trump.
The people that are voting for him are really sick people that refer to human beings as animals.
Yeah. Tears.
And it actually made me sick. It was really disheartening. And I don't think anyone that's a human that has feelings and sense can sit through hours of talking to people that believe that just because you weren't born in the United States, or even if you were and you're not white, which I don't know what qualifies you as white anymore.
Right, it's sad.
It makes you not a human being.
Oh my gosh!
And I want you to
the
reflect
emotional
on
distress
Chelsea.
was too much.
Now, here's the question: can you distinguish Chelsea from our senior senator Dick Durbin talking about the Supreme Court nominee?
In this press conference, Senator McConnell and the Republican leaders said point blank they are not going to exercise their constitutional responsibilities. This has never happened before. Never. We've not had this happen in history. And now Senator McConnell is going to have to wear the collar for it. He has decided that his Republicans will not do their job.
Will not do their job.
There's a lot of wailing going on the left, which is why, and you got to understand it a little bit. I mean, they have a difficult choice. They could either have to choose a thief or somebody running on a platform of thievery. So it's a difficult time for leftists. Fred Barnes joins us now. He's the executive editor of the Weekly Standard. He's the author of the book, co-author of the book, the Bleeding Heart Conservative Who Changed America, about Jack Kemp, of course. Fred, can you offer a hug to Dick Durbin and or Chelsea?
Well, they both need them. That's for sure. Yeah, Durbin. I mean, only liberals can do something that can take a position that is utterly hypocritical and yet do it with such emotion and insistence that they have the moral high ground. And that's exactly what, of course, Democrats are trying to do on the whole question of the Supreme Court. I mean, there's so much history now of Joe Biden and Harry Reid and the president who was a part of a filibuster to stop Sam Alito from being a Supreme Court justice and from stopping the Senate from doing what was called just a minute ago their constitutional duty, a responsibility. I hadn't heard that before, a constitutional responsibility. There are requirements in the Constitution. It hasn't listed things that are responsibilities.
Well, right, and to that point, of course, Fred, you know from Chuck Schumer that what anybody has said or done in the past is irrelevant today.
Yeah. He wishes. Look, this is going to be something that I think McConnell is going to be able to carry out with very few defections. Of course, he's gotten one from Illinois so far, but I don't think that's going to make much difference. And Susan Collins, the senator from Maine, has complained about it. But most Republicans are for this. Certainly the Republican base is for it. Certainly everybody I talk to who may not consider themselves in the Republican base is for exactly the strategy that Mitch McConnell has adopted. Well, I think it's the right one.
Why do you think Susan Collins and our Senator Mark Kirk would go out on a limb and defy the party and not fall in rank and be behind Mitch McConnell?
Well, I think for different reasons. Obviously, Kirk is in a very tough re-election fight, and it will do anything that might help him. I don't think this helps much, and this is basically a freebie for him because he can do this, and it's not going to change what the Republican strategy is and what McConnell has announced. Now, Susan Collins she's probably now that Olympia Snow's gone, probably the most liberal member of the Republican Senate, and she probably is being very sincere, but again, it's not going to affect what happens.
Speaking of affecting what happens, does Marco Rubio's continued prosecution of the argument, when the field winnows and it's a two-man race, that's when I really start to make my chops against Donald Trump. By the time that happens, Donald Trump is going to be nearing a 1,200 electoral to 1,200 delegates, I should say.
Yeah, he's very close after Nevada last night. Where he, broke the 40% barrier, got 46% of the vote. Remember, that was supposed to be his ceiling, 40%, because he hadn't gotten over that in Iowa, New Hampshire, or South Carolina. Now he did in Nevada. Rubio, there were no saving graces in that for either Rubio and particularly for Cruz. Now, I guess Rubio can say, well, gee, the late deciding voters, I did better among them than the other candidates. But yeah. I mean that's not much. And what is in there for Cruz? He lost the evangelical vote in Nevada by 17 points to Donald Trump. That doesn't leave him much of a constituency.
But Donald Trump, I mean, you look at the demographics that he won: young voters, old voters, and Hispanics. Did you really think, because I was shocked this morning to know that he received the majority of the Hispanic vote?
He did. I've looked through this entrance poll, and you can raise doubts about entrance polls, but they're as good as any other poll, almost. And it's all Trump. People, would you rather by 2-1? Would you rather have a president who has experience or not? And by 2-1, people say, at least in Nevada, or not. They don't care about experience, and that's one of the reasons they like Donald Trump. Look, this was a huge victory for him. I think Trump is basically 2 primaries away from really locking up the nomination. One is next week in Texas. Now, there's a poll showing him 8 points behind Ted Cruz in Texas, but that's before he won in Nevada, and we'll see. But if he beats Cruz in Texas, I think that finishes off Cruz. And then we get to Florida on March 15th. If he can defeat Rubio there, well, then I don't know what Rubio says after that.
Well, but in addition to that, I mean, next week, right now, you say, oh, well, Rubio, who should get out, Cruz or Rubio? This kind of navel-gazing conversation so many pundits are having.
Yep.
Well, Cruz is in second slot in most of the states that are going to vote next week, in addition to being up in Texas, which is has north of 150 delegates. And so why should I get out? And then, you go to March 15th, and maybe Rubio performs a little bit better than Cruz. So why should he get out? And this prisoner's dilemma game between them goes on while Trump continues to pile up victories.
Yeah, well, look, exactly. I mean, second doesn't do much for you, but if he wins in Texas, if Cruz wins in Texas, I think that'll be enough for him to argue that I'm staying in. And where's Rubio going to win? He's thought to have a chance in Virginia, but there was a poll the other day that said Trump was ahead in Virginia by 6 points. So it's hard to know where Rubio is going to be really viable on Super Tuesday next week. And Kasich, Kasich's campaigned in Massachusetts. The poll came out there showing him trailing Trump by 34 points.
Wow.
In Massachusetts. So, look, I think we're going to be stuck without a one-on-one with Trump and some other Republican, whether it's Cruz or Rubio. My preference would be for Rubio because I believe he has a chance of winning the general election in November, and I don't believe Trump does, and I think Ted Cruz would have great difficulty.
What do you think the possibility is that Donald Trump would choose Marco Rubio as a running mate?
Well, he hasn't criticized him the way he certainly attacked Jeb Bush and is now attacking Ted Cruz. And, Trump explained it last night that, well, the reason is that Rubio's not attacking him. Rubio has criticized him on foreign policy and his lack of experience there, but I wouldn't call it the kind of tough criticism that a lot of people have wanted to see made against Donald Trump, and only Jeb Bush has really done that.
Well, see, isn't that the problem, though? I mean, this is the problem with Rubio's kind of passive-aggressive comments about Trump. He needs to be aggressive. And it seems to me that the real problem you have is you have to take Trump's swagger away from him. And you don't take his swagger away by not going directly at him and ultimately by not winning elections. He continues to win. The swagger just increases. This is so much more a psychological process right now to me, or a psychological dynamic within the primary electorate than it is a substantive one. And it doesn't seem like Cruz and Rubio get that.
Jeb Bush tried to go after Trump's swagger. That didn't work. Cruz maybe a little bit, and that hasn't worked. I don't know how you cut down on Trump's swagger at any rate, because he's going to have it. That's who he is, a guy with a gigantic ego, some guy who thinks that win-win-win is something that he always does, and I think you're going to have a hard time attacking that. And Trump doesn't seem to be able to get into any trouble. He's got the media playing up everything he does, wanting to go live to all his speeches. I'd hate to be a candidate running against Trump in this race and trying to figure out what's going to work. Now, so far, there's only one clear thing that might work, and that is getting it down to one candidate versus Trump in running in the primaries. And I don't know that we'll ever get to that.
Do you think, did you ever see the movie High Plains Drifter with Clint Eastwood?
It probably did, but that would have been years ago, and I don't remember it.
So this town needs a gunslinger to come to town because they won't stand up for themselves, defend themselves. The gunslinger comes to town, cleans up the town, but then essentially destroys the town. He turns Lago into hell, famously repainting the sign of entering from Lago to hell. Basically, he essentially finds both sides disreputable, distasteful, so he provides the cover until he destroys both sides, one as an external threat and the other he lets the townspeople destroy themselves internally. I don't know, it seems to me that's where people are at. They're angry, they want someone to do their fighting for them, or at least appear to be fighting for them, because they haven't fought for themselves and they've lost the culture and they've lost the country.
Yeah, that's not an encouraging analogy.
Well, I'm not saying it is.
You wonder why voters, when you see the entrance poll from Nevada and the exit polls from other places, why people want somebody who tells it like it is, as if that is an important quality that is what you want in a president. That's somebody that tells it like it is, and that's above experience, intelligence, prudence, and any of the other important factors in a president. But yet that shows up in the polls more than anything else about Trump, and is really pushing his campaign. Basically now, I don't think he's unstoppable, but he's pretty darn close to it.
Yeah, no cardinal virtues to be found in this race. Fred Barnes, executive editor of the Weekly Standard. Fred, thanks so much for joining us.
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
Appreciate it.
Bye-bye.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro enjoyable answer line.
There's only one radio show in Chicago talking about today's biggest stories and telling you what they really mean. That show is this one, Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560, The Answer.
Oh, the snow's already beginning to fall in the south suburbs. It will be hitting the Chicago area between 9 and 10 o'clock this morning. Strong wind gusts, blowing snow. And snow totals up to a foot in northwest Indiana, and 6 inches in Chicago is predicted. Tomorrow, the snow will stop, but it'll still be breezy with considerable cloudiness, a high of 36. Let's get the travel times. Any messes on the roadways? Here's Jim Telemonte.
All over, Amy. Northwest side, Laramie is closed south of Montrose between Hutchinson and Cullum due to a multi-vehicle crash. 53 southbound, really gummed up from Algonquin to Beesterfield with a crash in the left lane. Northbound, the Gapers delay starts around Army Trail. Edens, 22 minutes, Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 23. The Kennedy now 40 minutes, O'Hare to downtown, outbound 28. The Eisenhower, 46 minutes, Thorndale to downtown, outbound the same. The Stevenson, 52 minutes, 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 50. After an overnight crash near the Tri-State, it's now gone. Ryan, 23 minutes, 95th to downtown. Northbound Tri-State slow, Reagan Tollway to North Avenue. Adams Tollway slow from before Roselle to 53. Again, the Veterans Memorial slow, Army Trail up to Beesterfield. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte, ChicagoRadioDeals.com, Traffic Center.
I know you want to work with a Chicagoland real estate agent with qualified buyers who can guarantee to sell your home. That's why you should call Saul Z and the Z team. 29 days pass without a sale on your listing. Saul will buy it or help you rent it. And working with Saul won't obligate you to anything. If you aren't happy, you cancel the contract. Saul literally has buyers lined up and ready to buy due to his aggressive and innovative marketing program. For example, Patty from Jefferson Park heard about Saul Z and the Z team on radio. After calling and meeting with Saul, Patty saw Saul's advanced marketing plan and listed her home for $300,000. It sold for $26,000 over the asking price in only 1 week. That's why the Wall Street Journal ranks Saul number 106 out of more than 1.2 million agents, because Saul sells more than 300 homes per year on average, many more times than the average realtor. I know I'll be calling Saul when I'm ready to sell my well-appointed condo or buy a new home. So go to callsaul.net. That's callsaul, SAUL.net, to find out what your home's worth, or call Saul directly at 888-346-0666. That's 888-346-0666, and start packing.
The following is a paid political announcement.
Are you tired of career politicians and their empty promises? I'm Gordon J. Kinsler, and I want to be your next congressman in the 6th District. I'm running in the Republican primary on March 15th against an incumbent who has lost his way and recently voted with a majority of Democrats on a budget bill, resulting in the GOP Congress losing all leverage over an out-of-control executive branch. I'm not a career politician. I've not accepted donations from big corporations or super PACs. I serve in local government. I'm a surgeon. I'm an Army Reserve Lieutenant Colonel and family man. I support strengthening our national defense, balancing our national budget, strengthening our economy, and securing our borders. The experience I have gained in public, medical, and military service makes me the best candidate to represent you in the 6th District. You finally have a real conservative choice. Take this opportunity to send a message to Washington and career politicians that you're not going to take it anymore. Vote for Gordon J. Kinsler on March 15th. For more information, go to kinslerforcongress.com.
Paid for and authorized by the Kinsler for Congress Committee.
Hey, if you're a car enthusiast who appreciates the joy of driving a high-end performance car or never lost your passion for classic or modern muscle cars, you need to know about this Feed the Children business benefactor. With decades of experience, Comet Motorsports provides car lovers with the highest quality service and performance products available. And Comet can save you money on quality service for your pride and joy. Hey, if you own a late model European performance or domestic muscle car, Comet can install performance tuning software to reprogram your car's computer to increase performance without sacrificing drivability. Comet is a complete tuning facility. Man, Comet even installs parts furnished by customers. If you have minor dents and dings, including hail damage, Comet can perform expert paintless dent repair to avoid bodywork and painting. Call Comet Motorsports in St. Charles at 630-584-5400 or visit CometMotorsports.com. That's Comet with a K.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, so yesterday, in addition to the Nevada caucus, we had a Democrat town hall on CNN, first Bernie, then Hillary.
Yeah, and Bernie, of course, they talked about, the big speeches for the Wall Street companies, and Hillary Clinton was supposed to hand over the transcript of her speeches, and she's still holding out.
All the more reason to remove this as an issue. Everybody's not going to bring up their transcripts. There'll be 100 reasons why.
Why is there one standard for me and not for everybody else, Chris?
Victim.
Yeah. At some point, look, I'm on record. I have a record. It certainly is far different from the Republicans because they think actually and have said that the cause of the Great Recession was too much regulation on Wall Street, which is an absolute joke. I have been upfront and strong on this issue for a long time. As strong, I would argue, as my esteemed opponent. So, you know what? If people are going to ask for things, everybody should be on a level playing field, and I'm happy if that were the case.
She's playing the I'm being treated unfairly because I'm a woman nonsense. There's only one candidate who's given $250,000 speeches to Wall Street banks. That's Hillary. And she's the candidate who decided to characterize what she said to the Wall Street banks, pretending that she was the Cassandra warning them that what they were doing was going to wreck the economy. And, of course, we know that's a lie. This is why she doesn't want to produce them. And Bernie's happy to produce the speeches that he gave to Wall Street banks for $250,000, which is a round number.
Yeah, just listen to this.
Look, I have not had a paid speech. It's against the law to give paid speeches. I have given some speeches, and money was donated to charity way, way back. I got a few dollars. If I can find the transcripts, I'm very, very happy to do it. But what Secretary Clinton said, I will do it if other people do it. Well, I am very happy to release all of my paid speeches to Wall Street. Here it is, Chris. There ain't none.
Something else that differs between Sanders and Clinton, he follows the law.
Before you see it on TV, share it on Facebook, or read about it in the paper, hear it here first. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Did you know color is vital to your health? I'm talking about the color of the food you eat. A colorful diet is a part of staying well because many nutrients are color. Eating a wide variety of fruits and vegetables provides your body with the diverse chemistry it needs to heal itself and stay well.
Now ask yourself, how many servings of fruits and vegetables did I eat today? Balance of Nature has solved this problem and provides an easy and affordable way to consume over 10 servings of 31 different whole fruits and vegetables every day.
My name is Dr. Howard. I've recommended Balance of Nature for over 15 years because of the excellent results I see in my patients.
Good health is just a phone call away. What are you waiting for? Call now and take the health challenge to get a free month's supply of Balance of Nature. Call 1-800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code CHICAGO.
Snowstorms coming. You might be thinking about getting away and booking your spring break trip. And the best place to go is Ritz-Carlton Dove Mountain in Arizona, southern Arizona. There are endless outdoor activities, tennis, horseback riding, 20 miles of hiking and biking that are on the property. Everywhere you look, there's breathtaking views of the Sonoran Desert. Why? Because the resort is nestled in it. If you're a golfer, it's the best golf you can play in Arizona, and it's perfect for a family vacation. There's water slides and kids clubs, or a place for a romantic getaway. Find it all when you go to ritzcarlton.com/Dove Mountain. Special rates and packages are available for your spring break. That's ritzcarlton.com/Dove Mountain. Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
No scholarships for straight white men. That's at 7:45.
But first, here's Mike Scott.
Outside, we have cloudy skies, snow showers across the area, especially in northwest Indiana now, as the blizzard warning there is in effect, and a winter storm warning up for us today. And a high wave warning is also up along Lake Michigan, impacting Lakeshore Drive. At least 3 are dead, a dozen or more injured after tornadoes tore through the southeast. Damage from those deadly twisters reported from Louisiana into the Florida Panhandle. Rescuers have found the wreckage of a twin-engine plane carrying 23 that crashed in bad weather in the central mountains of Nepal. All on board, including 2 foreigners, are confirmed dead. Donald Trump wins again the Nevada Republican caucuses.
Of course, if you listen to the pundits, we weren't expected to win too much, and now we're winning the country. And soon the country is going to start winning.
Marco Rubio edging out Ted Cruz for second place. Republicans on the Senate Judiciary Committee say they will not hold confirmation hearings for any
it'll
Supreme
be good
Court
to have
nominee from the president.
that precedent.
Came in a letter from
I do think
GOP
people want the government to act on their behalf,
Senate
that they feel like
Majority
the
Leader Mitch
safeguards
McConnell.
are there.
A motorist
You
is
shouldn't
dead
call the
after a
access
collision
some
with a
special
semi
thing.
on the
It's no
Stevenson
different
Expressway
than,
this morning. All
should,
southbound
if
lanes of
anybody
I-55
ever
were
been able
closed
to
for a
tell
time
the
as
phone
crews cleared
company
the scene.
to get information.
Students at Chicago State
I don't think that
University
it's
will
the type
not
of thing
have
where there's only room for
breaks
one
this
type
year.
of.
School announcing the vacation period has been
So here's
canceled
my pledge
in
to
order
you.
to move up the end of the
will
semester so
delay
seniors can graduate. It's an issue created by the state's
You know
budget
the universe
crisis.
of thought that this comes from. You've known
And
it for a
Chicago's
long
efforts
time.
to
You've dealt with it
increase the
for a
number of
long time,
minority
and many of
applicants
us
for
have
police
watched.
jobs at least appears
Today,
to be paying
a
off.
federal judge, as
City
you know,
says about
issued
70%
on a
of the
ruling on a motion
14,000 people
that could
who've
pave the
applied
way for the
to take the
possibility
next
that you
police
could be
exam
subpoenaed
are
in
black,
order to
Hispanic,
obtain
or
any
Asian.
information. Whatever the details
Chicago
of this
sports,
latest case,
MAC
it's what
action
they call
last
the
night.
drip, drip, drip
Our Central
theory of
Michigan
this.
or our
It
Northern
doesn't
Illinois
go
Huskies
away.
fell to Central Michigan
What
in
is
the
your
MAC
statement
76
to Democrats
to
who are
64.
afraid
Evansville
that
top
this
rattling
right,
in the Valley.
wrong, good,
The
bad,
Big Ten, Michigan
it will
State, a
not
win over
leave
Ohio
you
State.
in this race and may
The news
compromise
service
you
of
now
the
and going
Foundation
forward.
for a Better
That
Life.
there's just no
Mr.
basis
Rogers
for
passed
that,
along
Chris.
friendship,
And you
hoping
know,
we would too.
look, I'm well
Friendship,
aware
pass it
of
on
the drip, drip,
from
drip.
the Foundation
I've
for a
been,
Better Life at
in the
values.com.
public arena for
A check of
25
traffic
years,
and weather on the way next.
and have
On
been
AM
the
560.
subject of a lot of ongoing
Is Mike Gallagher buying into the
attacks
conspiracy surrounding the death of Justice
misinformation
Scalia?
and all the rest of
Found
it.
in bed
But I
with
can
a
only
pillow
tell
over
you
his head,
what the facts
and
are.
there will be no autopsy,
you know, the facts
per
are
the
that
family's
every single
request.
time somebody
Do I
has
need to
hurled
say
these
anything
charges
more?
against
One of the most
me, which they have
bizarre
done,
stories
it's
I've
proved
seen
to
in
be
a long
nothing.
time.
And
This thing
this
is
no
as
different than
bizarre
that.
as
You know, when
bizarre
I
gets.
testified for
Gallagher
11
Show.
hours on the
Weekdays at
Benghazi
9,
committee,
right
you know,
before
people were
Dennis
really,
Prager at 11
you know, my
on
goodness,
AM
oh my goodness.
560.
I told the truth. I testified under oath. And at the end, they had to say, well, there was nothing there. Here, I have turned over 55,000 pages of emails. Nobody in any cabinet position has ever been as transparent or open. I know there are, challenges about what the State Department did or didn't do. That'll all be worked out. It is just not something that, is going to have any lasting effect, and I am not at all worried about it.
Illinois Rising this Sunday at 3 p.m. on AM 560. The Answer.
Donley Auctions in Union, Illinois needs your guns. Get top dollar for your antique and modern firearms and military souvenirs by consigning them to Donley Auctions. Donley Auctions are federally licensed firearms dealers, and if you're unable to come to them, they will be happy to come to you and pick them up. Their next gun auction is this Saturday, February 27th. For more information, call 815-923-7000 or go to DonleyAuctions.com. Donley Auctions in Union, Illinois.
Remodel your kitchen or bath with Galaxy and get free installation, free design, and free financing. Call Galaxy at 773-783-8300 or schedule online at galaxyhome.com.
Not available in California. Here's a great idea for a business: health food and vending machines. Who doesn't want healthier choices? Imagine the money you could make. Well, the guys at Fresh Healthy Vending have already thought of it and have secured locations ready for healthy vending machines. Most of our franchisees work fewer than 15 hours a week and are amazed at the income they're making and how fast their business is growing. So go to ReadyForFresh.com right now. Type in promo code 1919 and receive an immediate 50% savings on franchise fees. That's right, we'll pay half of new franchisees' fees. ReadyForFresh.com 1919.
At GoDaddy, a domain name is the beginning of something awesome. Use it to create a website to promote your business. Open an online store to sell your products. Start a blog. Build your brand. You can even connect your domain to your LinkedIn or Facebook page. And GoDaddy customer support is always ready to help. What will you do with your domain name? Get a free domain with website from GoDaddy.com, starting at $1 a month. Annual purchase of website builder required. Price valid first year only. See website for details.
7:37 in our ChicagoRadioDeals.com traffic center. Very latest this morning with Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. Southbound 53 has delays from Algonquin to Beesterfield after an earlier crash. Northbound stop and go from the Army Trail Toll to Beesterfield. Edens Expressway inbound, 23 minutes. Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 25. Inbound Kennedy, it is now 44 minutes. O'Hare to downtown, outbound 32. The Eisenhower, 48 minutes. Thorndale to the Loop, outbound 50. The Stevenson is 57 minutes. 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 44. Ryan, 23 minutes, 95th to downtown. Lakeshore Drive southbound, slow Wilson to Fullerton, northbound Balboa to Jackson. On Tri-State, heavy Plainfield Road to 31st, and from the Reagan Tollway to North Avenue, Adams Tollway slow from before Roselle to 53. There are hundreds of flight delays and cancellations at Chicago's airports. Traffic is a service of AARP and the Ad Council. If you're dealing with the daily struggles of caring for a loved one, visit aarp.org/caregiving to find a community with experts and other caregivers who can provide advice and support. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte, AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. From the AirComfort.com Weather Center, AirComfort.com, 80 years of quality mechanical solutions for your business. For Cook County, a winter storm warning for the northwest and far western suburbs. Not a lot of snow right now. The epicenter of the storm over Valparaiso right now, where they could get a foot of new snow and blizzard-like conditions. Will top out over 30 at 37 with a low of 30 overnight. 35 winds out of the north at 21. And your next news update is at 8. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by the Property Tax Show, Saturdays at 6 p.m., hosted by Brad Hayes, Chicagoland's property tax expert.
You want more than just the headlines? Find out what's going on and what it means with me, Dennis Prager, this morning at 11, right here on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. You know what that music means. It's time for our friend Steve Moore from the Heritage Foundation. But Amy, this Apple versus Department of Justice versus law enforcement generally, it's continuing to endure twists and turns. You had one California congressman, a Democrat, Ted Lieu from L.A., write a letter to FBI Director Jim Comey to basically chill out, take a deep breath, let's start talking to each other, resolve these matters with the American public and through the lawmaking process and not through unelected judges. Bill Gates.
Yeah, he's chiming in.
He's weighed in on the case.
Well, the courts are going to rule, and it'll be good to have that precedent. I do think people want the government to act on their behalf if they feel like the safeguards are there.
And he's on the side of Apple. No, I'm sorry. He's on the side of the FBI. He wants Apple to comply with their request.
Correct. So
so do I, because I think ISIS is laughing at us right now. Like, oh, we're planning another attack. It's on that phone, and they don't even know about it.
Is that how ISIS laughs?
Well, I just think that they're laughing at us. All of our enemies are laughing at us, and all the homegrown jihadists are getting ideas, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Well, it's a tool that we have that we're not using to crack a possible terrorist plot. Oh, what could go wrong?
Okay. Well, let's bring in Steve Moore, Chief Economist of the Heritage Foundation on this. Steve, thanks for joining us.
Hi, guys.
So where do you come down? Because this is ultimately an economic issue in addition to national security, kind of the intersection of competing interests. Apple says not only would it present a dangerous precedent for their users' privacy, but I think they're also using it as a bit of a branding opportunity to say, we're the anti-establishment, anti-status quo company that we claim to be.
I'm with Amy on this one. Totally. I mean, I think you got this one right. And look, I'm a libertarian. I worked at the Cato Institute for 10 years. But look, my office when I worked at the Wall Street Journal for 10 years was right across the street from the World Trade Center. And I was reminded every day of what a threat terrorism is. And look, I believe if we could stop terrorists from blowing up a school or a shopping center or a movie theater by Apple cooperating, I'm all for it. I think we're in a new age of terrorism. I think sometimes we don't take seriously how at risk we are. And Amy, you put it really well, I think. And you and I don't always agree, but on this one, we're in 100% agreement. We got to use every single tool we have to find these guys before they can kill us.
What about this story in the Wall Street Journal? The Justice Department pursuing court orders to make Apple help investigators extract data from iPhones in about a dozen undisclosed cases around the country. It had nothing to do with San Bernardino or that terrorist phone in question. For example, federal prosecutors in New York sparring with Apple over an iPhone seized in a drug investigation there.
Well, those are tougher cases. There's where my libertarian antenna start going off. I'm talking about using every technology that we have to try to foil these terrorists before they can do their dastardly deeds. Now, I was on Fox News yesterday talking about this very subject, and I made the point that, look, I think Apple, you were talking about, branding them as a kind of 21st century company and so on that's not going to let the government bully them around. I have a different attitude. Look, I think if Apple fully cooperates here, and I think 95% of their customers would applaud that. I think it's a opportunity for a branding opportunity for Apple to say we are doing everything we can to make America safe, to make schools safe and shopping centers safe and airplanes safe. I actually think I think they're taking a stupid position here in not being wholly cooperative with the United States government as we try to fight the new war on terror.
I agree, and I kind of want to stop my Apple service, but I'm too addicted to my phone to do it.
Nice principle stand.
Principle only makes you so proud.
Yes. So big win for your guy Donald Trump last night. It's a three-peat.
Oh, it's awesome. I have to say, look, what I learned last night is the American people are pissed. They are so pissed at Washington. They're pissed at the Republican leadership. They don't believe a word the Republican establishment says. I don't see how Marco Rubio is going to, as an establishment candidate, is going to catch him. I think Donald Trump is going to be the next president of the United States. It's the most amazing thing. And look, there's a lot of things, as you guys know, I don't agree with that Donald Trump says, and I think sometimes he's the biggest jerk I ever, and so juvenile. But he is representing a movement that I just find so healthy, that people don't trust Washington anymore, and they want somebody who's not a career politician. And you know what? I'm in 100% agreement with them.
One of the concerns I have about Donald Trump is I don't know what to be concerned about. Were he to be the president of the United States. So on matters economic, what, if you can identify, concerns you the most?
His trade position is he's anti-trade and anti-immigration. I believe that trade and immigration are very good for America, and I think this idea of building walls, whether they're walls of trade or walls against immigration. Look, I don't have a problem with a wall, but it better have big gates so we can take the people who want to come here and contribute to America. It's what our country is all about. But he's got a pretty good tax plan. Art Laffer and I helped put that one together. It cuts tax rates. And you know what? Americans want somebody in the White House who knows how to do something. My goodness. I talked to my liberal friends, oh, my God, where did Donald Trump come from? He is the anti-Obama, right? We've got a president right now, ladies and gentlemen, who couldn't run a lemonade stand, for goodness sakes. And Donald Trump, love him or hate him, is a man of accomplishment. He has run businesses, and he does have achievements that I think would serve us well. It would be nice to have someone who's not a lifetime politician lead our country.
Well, you said you came up with a tax plan that would cut slash tax rates, but you also have to cut some spending. Can you disclose what that is? Out of which programs, Stephen Moore?
Yeah, well, that's a great question because he's got a huge tax cut, but he's not really telling us, Amy, where he's going to cut the spending. And that's the question. That's the $64 billion question that she answered, and I don't have an answer because he hasn't told us. He hasn't said, where are you going to cut spending? He just said, it's going to, I'm going to make government more efficient. I've heard that before.
It's going to be huge.
So that. Yeah, we're going to have huge cuts. But, I think here's the thing. Nobody is paying these Trump voters, which, what do you get? What do you have, 43, 44%?
46.
46. While I went to bed, it was 43. These voters, anything that smacks of a career politician, they're tuning out what Washington is saying, because you know what, Dan and Amy, they don't believe them anymore. And I said this on your show, I think it was over about 6 weeks ago. I said, if Republicans pass this crappy budget that funds everything from sanctuary cities to Obama's climate change agenda to all the other crap in that budget, I said, if the Republicans pass this, it is the biggest gift to Donald Trump I ever saw. And you know what? I was right for once.
Yeah, I'll tell you, you mentioned that he's the anti-Obama, but do you agree with me that they share a similarity? That
they both. I'll tell you one similarity they have. We're talking about the two people in America that have the biggest egos.
Well, I'll suggest another similarity that pertains to their support as well. Obama in 2008, the synonym for populism was hope. In 2016, the synonym for populism with Trump is swagger. And and so the substance doesn't matter. He's a Rorschach inkblot who is what I say he is.
Very well put. I agree with that. Look, these are popularity contests, these presidential elections. We've learned that over the last 20 years. People vote for the person, and people want some swagger. You know what? I'm tired of America being the little wimp on the beach and having Vladimir Putin, kick sand in our face.
Yeah, no, I
don't think that's going to happen under President Trump.
No, they're going to be fast friends. It's a mutual admiration society, at least with that authoritarian dictator. Stephen Moore, Chief Economist at the Heritage Foundation. Steve, thanks for joining us.
I know I'm going to get some hate mail from the people who hate Trump, but we'll see.
That's all right.
Okay,
thanks,
take care, guys. Have a great day.
He joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
You're listening to Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
The snow has arrived in northwest Indiana and in parts of southern suburbs. Before it's all said and done, we could have storm totals of half a foot of snow downtown, 3 inches at O'Hare. And then later this afternoon, while the snow is falling, wind gusts are going to be kicking up. They'll be blowing snow, low visibility, so your commute home is going to be pretty nasty. A high of 37 degrees. And then tomorrow, breezy with considerable cloudiness. No snow in the forecast, but highs in the mid to upper 30s. Let's get the travel times. How's that multi-vehicle crash on Laramie?
Amy, that has reopened. Laramie has south of Montrose after that collision, which had one car hitting a garage. Now in River North, we have a protest going on. Grand Avenue at Clark Street. There are some protesters on the roadway, so traffic is congested in that area. Eden's not too bad. 21 minutes. Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 24. To Kennedy, 45 minutes. O'Hare to downtown, outbound 31. Eisenhower, 48 minutes. Thorndale to the Loop, outbound 50. Stevenson is 57 minutes. 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 44. Ryan, 23 minutes, 95th to downtown. North on Tri-State, stop and go from the Stevenson to 47th. The Reagan Tollway to North Avenue. Adams Tollway very slow. Roselle to 53. 53 has southbound delays. Palatine to Beesterfield after an earlier crash. Jim Talamonte, ChicagoRadioDeals.com Traffic Center.
Do something for yourself. Treat yourself to a MyPillow. You know, there are many of you who have procrastinated, but don't put it off any longer. MyPillow is a premium pillow with 4 different loft levels that's customized to your individual preference. And for our listeners who use the promo code Amy, guess what? 2 pillows for the price of 1. It's MyPillow's best offer. It's so important to get a great night's sleep. You'll wake up feeling energized, refreshed, ready to tackle your day. If you have problems with snoring or headaches or neck pain, insomnia, allergies, this is the pillow for you. MyPillow. It's washable. Oh, and it keeps its shape to give you support where you need it most. 60-day full money-back guarantee, a 10-year warranty, American made. It's the official pillow of the National Sleep Foundation. For this 2 for the price of 1 offer, simply go to MyPillow.com. Type Amy in that promo code, AMY. 2 pillows for the price of 1. This will not last forever, so do it today. Or go old school and call the 800 number, like I did. 800-489-0201. That's 800-489-0201. And be sure to tell them Amy sent you.
Chicago winters are brutal. But when you're homeless, they can be life-threatening. At 54, Trudy fell on hard times and ended up living on the streets. On cold winter nights, Trudy says the trick was to sleep on empty milk cartons to keep her body from freezing on the frozen ground. Well, thankfully, Trudy found Franciscan Outreach. Franciscan Outreach provides people who are homeless with hot meals, a warm bed, access to health care, and the support needed to improve their lives. Today, with the help of Franciscan Outreach, Trudy is employed, has permanent housing, and sleeps in her own warm bed on cold winter nights. Please find a home in your heart for those who are homeless. Visit franoutreach.org to find out how you can help. Your gift will help improve the lives of hundreds of people like Trudy every day. franoutreach.org. Make a difference today.
I'm Dan Proft with an Upstream idea brought to you by the Illinois Policy Institute. 27. Illinois state employees, on average, receive total compensation 27% higher than their private sector counterparts. State employees made nearly $4,000 more in wages and $13,000 in benefits than private sector employees. More than half of state workers will retire before the age of 60 with a guaranteed state pension. The state is in a financial death spiral with ground impact imminent. So keep this in mind as Governor Bruce Rauner breaks off contract talks with AFSCME, the state's largest public sector union. AFSCME has been unwilling to give on its demands for annual step increases of 3.8%, in addition to annual general wage increases. The lowball estimate of the cost of what AFSCME demands is $1.6 billion. That's $1.6 billion more from Illinois families who already pay the highest property taxes in the nation. This is Governor Rauner's moment of truth. He ran for office saying he is not a politician. He said he is a businessman who will make the difficult decisions to turn around the state he loves. We're about to find out if that's true. For more Upstream ideas, visit upstream-ideas.com. I'm Dan Proft.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy. Sean from Elmwood Park here on Chicago's Morning Answer.
First of all, when people use sentences of self-description, I'm a libertarian, and the next word you hear is but, you're not a libertarian. It's like saying I'm a liberal, but you need to create law to mandate behavior. You're really not a liberal. You're a fascist. And when you say I'm a libertarian, but we need to control liberty, you're really just another social engineering Fabian.
So
socialist.
You don't think Apple should be forced to comply with the federal government?
Absolutely not. Not any form of twisted fascism is anything but fascism. Why should they cover what the FBI could not do? You want Apple to create a key? Make them create the key and fire every moron in the FBI and the TSA, everybody who could have caught these scumbags and let them slip by.
All right.
You cannot ask a company to compromise what it has built its reputation on. You can't do it. You can't mandate it. It makes you a fascist. Period.
All right. Thanks, Sean.
Oh, yes, you're angry at me, Sean. This is the morning show more Chicago radio listeners are choosing. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
I feel great. I've always felt pretty good, but once I started taking them in September, I couldn't have felt any better. Everybody in my household's been sick through the holidays. We've had bad snowstorms here, and I feel great.
This is a wonderful thing. I'm really getting a lot of benefits from it. I'm 70 years old. I'm going to be 71 in April, and I just feel generally much better. I would also say there have been all kinds of colds and flu around me, and I haven't caught any of them. I have arthritis, and that has not been as much as it used to be by a long shot. So it's touched me in many areas.
Good health is just a phone call away. What are you waiting for? Call now and take the health challenge to get a free month's supply of Balance of Nature. Call 1-800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code CHICAGO.
Running a business can be challenging, especially here in Illinois. You face mountains of regulations on top of mountains of taxes and fees, not to mention new Obamacare requirements. Business owners who manage to survive and thrive deserve to be recognized, and that's exactly what we here at AM 560 The Answer are going to do. This spring, we'll be hitting the road on the AM 560 Business Tour presented by Signature Bank, where I do my business banking. It's a way for us to celebrate local businesses who are overcoming the odds and succeeding in spite of the many challenges they face. We want to give back to the business community by broadcasting this show live from various locations throughout Chicagoland. Does your business have a great success story? If so, we want to hear about it. Go to 560theanswer.com/business. Fill out the brief form to tell us about how you and your business are beating the odds to serve your clients in your community. We'll select several businesses as stops on our AM 560 Business Tour, and we'll broadcast from your location to share your success with our audience. We hope to inspire other business owners and show the world that, yes, you did build that. So go to 560theanswer.com/business to tell us your story, and we may be stopping at your location this spring on the AM 560 Business Tour.
And now, a moment of objectivism with Yaron Brook and the Ayn Rand Institute.
Ask almost anybody about Social Security and Medicare, and they'll tell you, I earn my Social Security benefits. I earn my Medicare. But the truth is, you haven't earned your Social Security check. These programs don't save or invest what you put in. The government taxes you when you were young and doles out your hard-earned money to pay for retirement and medical expenses of the old today. When you retire, your benefits will be taken from the working youth. Social Security and Medicare are giant welfare programs that force retired Americans and the working young to participate. It adds insult to injury to call them earned benefits. You can't earn a right to have others support you. From the Ayn Rand Institute, I'm Yaron Brook.
This has been a moment of objectivism from the Ayn Rand Institute. To learn more, listen to the Yaron Brook Show, Saturdays at 4 on AM 560, and visit ariradio.com.
Why are Ayn Rand's ideas so compelling? Her worldview, her philosophy, expressed dramatically in her novels Atlas Shrugged and The Fountainhead, embodies the ideals stated by the Founding Fathers in the Declaration of Independence and sets forth the requirements necessary to achieve a flourishing life. She called her philosophy objectivism and said it was a philosophy for living on Earth. Today, decades after her death, objectivism continues to stir debate and inspire passion for the spirit of individualism and the enduring American dream.
Ladies, are the chemicals in your home's water stripping the life from your hair? Men, do you have that one pesky toilet that always gives you problems? Listen to the Heatwave Plumbing Radio Show this Saturday for answers to all your plumbing questions. Need plumbing help right now? Be the very first person to go to radioplumbingdeals.com, fill out the radio discount request form, click submit, and get $129 worth of service for $39.95. That's radioplumbingdeals.com.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
President Obama leaves a lot of unanswered questions with his Gitmo announcement. We'll have Bill Roggio from the Foundation for the Defense of Democracies on at 8:08 to fill in the blanks.
And later, a devoted dog story that's going to melt your heart. But first, let's go into the newsroom. Here is Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, the body of a missing British tourist has been found as a winter storm is expected to slam many parts of the AM 560 listening area. NBA tonight, Washington and the Bulls. We'll see if we get it in with the snow, and a cloudy, windy, and snowy day ahead. WIND Chicago News Time is 8 o'clock.
Fox News Radio. I'm Dave Anthony. Donald Trump says he's
just very happy. It was a big victory, a really big victory.
The morning after he won Nevada.
Thank you.
Taking his third contest in a row in a rout, getting more Republican votes than Marco Rubio and Ted Cruz combined. Fox's Jessica Rosenthal live in Las Vegas.
Dave, Donald Trump won across all groups here in Nevada.
We won the evangelicals. We won with young. We won with old. We won with highly educated. We won with poorly educated. I love the poorly educated.
And Hispanics, though Ted Cruz and Marco Rubio are both of Cuban descent. Cruz said he has at least won Iowa. When asked if Rubio needs to win one here, he said this is about delegates.
I got 5 delegates, and Ted Cruz got 5 delegates. So obviously not as many as Donald Trump, but it takes over 1,200 delegates to be the nominee. We're not even close to getting to that.
Though he acknowledged after Super Tuesday there are states where the winner takes all the delegates, Dave.
And Jessica, President Obama hasn't picked a Supreme Court nominee yet, but he's getting closer, even though Senate Republicans plan to ignore whoever it is wanting the next president to pick Antonin Scalia's replacement. Fox's John Decker live at the White House.
The president writing today in SCOTUS blog about the traits he's looking for in his pick to fill the seat of the late Justice Antonin Scalia. The president wrote that his nominee must be eminently qualified, have an independent mind, and understand that a judge's job is to interpret the law, not make the law. He also wrote that he's looking to nominate someone who has had life experiences earned outside the classroom and the courtroom. Dave?
John, it's the day after a devastating tornado hit St. James Parish, Louisiana, ripping mobile homes apart. This woman lost just about everything.
Over the next couple of days, salvage what I can, and I've got family I'm going to go stay with.
2 people were killed in that area. Dozens more were hurt, 7 critically. Another person was killed in Mississippi, and there was also storm damage in Pensacola, Florida. A winter storm will bury the Midwest. It'll be a blizzard in some areas. More than 900 flights into and out of Chicago have been canceled today. Fox News Radio, fair and balanced.
Cloudy and 35 degrees, winds north at 20. We have a lakeshore flood warning up for Chicago, a winter storm warning up for Cook County and also Will County, and a blizzard warning is up for northwest Indiana. 8:02 on AM 560, The Answer. Good morning, I'm Mike Scott. Snow showers could cause a mess over 60 schools, most in northwest Indiana and in the southern part of our listening area across southern Will and northern Kankakee County have been closed. Students at Chicago State University will not have a spring break. This year, the school announcing the vacation period has been canceled. They say created by the state's budget crisis, and they'll end the semester early so some seniors can graduate. 4 labor unions have filed suit against Lincolnshire against a right-to-work ordinance encouraged by Governor Rauner. Lincolnshire's ordinance creates a right-to-work zone, barring labor contracts requiring a company's employees to join unions or pay dues. The Indiana Senate has approved a measure banning local governments from taxing or restricting the use of those disposable plastic bags by grocery stores and other retailers. Municipalities across the country like Chicago have banned the single-use plastic bags. Others have adopted so-called bag taxes as a disincentive to their use. Critics say the bags can cause harm to the environment. Chicago sports. NBA tonight, the Bulls take on Washington if the weather cooperates. Last night in the MAC, Central Michigan beat our Northern Illinois Huskies 76-64. The news service of Lead Safe America. More than 1 in 3 American kids has some lead in their blood. No level is safe. Lead poisoning can cause learning disabilities and behavioral disorders. Has your child been tested? Learn more at leadsafeamerica.org. 8:03, time for the AM 560 Business Beat. And from the Fox Business Network, a service of Turnkey.pro, here's Lillian Wu.
From the Fox Business Network, stock futures in the red on Wall Street, with most global markets seeing a sell-off as falling oil prices continue to weigh on stocks. Investors will be keeping an eye on some reports out this morning, new home sales figures and crude oil inventories data. Johnson & Johnson ordered by a Missouri state jury to pay $72 million of damages to the family of a woman whose death from ovarian cancer was linked to her use for decades of the company's talc-based baby powder and shower-to-shower. Aerospace giant Airbus saying earnings grew 15% last year as demand increased for its A320 and A330 jets. And if you prefer the motorcycle, well, Uber is launching a motorcycle ride-hailing service in Bangkok. Uber Moto, a pilot project specifically developed for cities in emerging markets. With the Fox Business Report, I'm Lillian Wu.
News time is 8:05. A check of traffic and weather coming up next on AM 560.
Each year, the month of March is all about the madness. This year, as the number of candidates dwindles and the delegate count climbs, the remaining candidates will meet for one final debate. And AM 560 is hosting the final debate watch party of the primary season. Join us for March to the White House, a Republican debate watch party presented by Innovative Networks on Thursday, March 10th at Austin's Fuel Room in Libertyville. Tickets are just $25 and include an all-you-can-eat buffet. Visit 560theanswer.com/March. Sponsored in part by Black Rhino Concealment.
QL1, this is Control. Ground crew is secure. Over.
Copy that, Control. Rockets powering up. Over.
QL1, this is Control. Does Rocket Mortgage require me to fill out a bunch of paperwork?
Negative, Control. Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans is the first on-demand mortgage machine that quickly and seamlessly imports your financial data. You can go through the entire mortgage approval process in minutes.
Copy that, QL1. That is fast, like rocket fast. Do you think that's why they named it Rocket Mortgage? Over.
Affirmative, Control. That's probably why they named it Rocket Mortgage. It also works on any internet-ready device, so you can get a Rocket Mortgage at any time or place you choose.
Roger that, QL1. So technically speaking, you could get a Rocket Mortgage at rocket speed from inside an actual rocket?
Please just press the button, Control. Over.
Copy that, QL1.
3, 2, 1. Rocket Mortgage at QuickenLoans.com. Push button. Get mortgage.
Rocket. Visit for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLSConsumerAccess.org. Number 3030.
8:06 in our Chicago RadioDeals.com traffic center. Let's get the very latest now with Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. Downtown River North, a couple dozen protesters are disrupting traffic on Clark Street at Grand Avenue. There's an event there apparently this morning involving Cook County State's Attorney Anita Alvarez. They have updated flight cancellation numbers. Now 680 flights have been canceled at O'Hare today, 55 at Midway. There are some delays in addition. Eden's inbound, 21 minutes, Lake Cook to Montrose.
For many years, it's been clear that the detention facility...
This is what I think of the President's plan.
It's been clear that the detention...
This morning I watched President Obama talking about Gitmo, right? Guantanamo Bay, which by the way, we are keeping open.
Lakeshore Drive, southbound delays from Wilson to Fullerton, northbound from the Stevenson to Jackson. On Tri-State
there have been no
Reagan
incidents.
To the Eisenhower.
We've managed it just fine.
53 has
you will delay justice probably.
Higgins to Beesterfield after an earlier crash. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the AirComfort.com Weather Center. AirComfort.com, 80 years of quality mechanical solutions for your business. Here is our meteorologist, Kevin Snyder.
Winter storm warning in effect 9 a.m. this morning until 4 a.m. tomorrow. Lakeshore flood warning in effect noon until 4 a.m. tomorrow. Cloudy and windy today. Snow accumulating 103 inches. High 37. A bit of snow tonight. Windy with blowing and drifting snow. Low of 30. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560. The Answer.
35 at O'Hare. Winds out of the north-northeast at 20 miles an hour. Your next news update is at 8:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560. The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by the Ayn Rand Institute and the Yaron Brook Show. Heard Saturday afternoons at 4 here on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning. Welcome to your Wednesday morning briefing. Here's what you need to know to start your day.
Of course, if you listen to the pundits, we weren't expected to win too much, and now we're winning the country.
President Obama reignited the battle today over closing the U.S. prison at Guantanamo Bay.
It's been clear that the detention facility at Guantanamo Bay does not advance our national security. It undermines it.
This goes far beyond this single case or this single phone. And in fact, they're actually asking Apple to do something that would put millions of people's safety and security at risk.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. So the president announces plans to close Gitmo. He's been talking about it for 8 years, trying to get it done before he is forced out of office. And
leaves office, yeah.
Well, forced.
Time's up, man. And when time's up, you got to pack up and move on.
So he made his case, which is not a new case. It's a rather prosaic case against leaving Gitmo open, saying this.
For many years, it's been clear that the detention facility at Guantanamo Bay does not advance our national security. It undermines it. This is not just my opinion. This is the opinion of experts. This is the opinion of many in our military. It's counterproductive to our fight against terrorists because they use it as propaganda in their efforts to recruit.
And then President Obama went on to say something rather remarkable.
There have been no incidents. We've managed it just fine.
No incidents. Those that have one count has nearly a third of those Gitmo detainees that have been transferred, which is a synonym for released. That's political talk for released. Have returned to jihad, have returned to the fight against the West, have returned to terrorism. In fact, our forthcoming guest, Bill Roggio, who is the editor of the Long War Journal, reported in December that one former Gitmo detainee, Sheikh al-Sudani, returned to Yemen and became a leader of al-Qaeda in the Arabian Peninsula, helping to destabilize Yemen. So President Obama is saying there are no incidents. Seems to not comport with the record, which is why Senator Pat Roberts from Kansas
he took to YouTube and had his own message for President Obama and this idea to close Gitmo.
This is what I think of the president's plan to send terrorists to the United States.
That was crumpling up a piece of paper, ostensibly the plan, and throwing it in the trash can. Now, we should hear from the other side. The incoming president of the United States, Donald Trump.
Oh, stop. Will you stop? No, you started doing this today earlier, and I thought,
it's all
is it over? You've conceded?
Yeah,
when are you going to deliver your concession speech?
Soon, right after Super Tuesday. But Donald Trump had this to say.
This morning I watched President Obama talking about Gitmo, right? Guantanamo Bay, which by the way, we are keeping open.
We're going to keep open, and we're going to put Obama's Supreme Court nominee in Gitmo. How about that?
Yeah.
Kind of connect the dots.
But real quick, my favorite part of yesterday, though, is when Obama said that closing Gitmo is going to save taxpayers money. It's going to save $65 to $80 million a year.
Wow.
Since when did he start caring about the budget? He doesn't care about entitlement programs and spending there, but when it comes to Gitmo, Dan, he's going to save us a few pennies and dimes.
Added $7.5 trillion in debt, more than double the nation's debt in the last 7 years, but where you're going to save $80 million. Yeah, real fiscal conservative. Well, now let's welcome our friend, the aforementioned Bill Roggio from the Foundation for the Defense of Democracies, the editor of the Long War Journal. Bill, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Dan and Amy. Always a pleasure.
So why don't we start with the how? President Obama is very good at laying out what should happen. He's not so good at filling in the gaps as to how you're going to make what you want to happen. And so not included in his remarks the details on the transfer process for the 35 detainees cleared for transfer, how the administration will continue to review remaining detainees, what's happening in military commissions proceedings that are ongoing, among other questions. Your thoughts on those gaps?
Oh, yeah, exactly. I mean, look, President Obama doesn't have – that's because he doesn't have a plan to actually implement this. He wants to bring hardened terrorists to the United States and put them inside in U.S. jails. That's ultimately what his goal is. For those he can't transfer to other countries, they're deemed too dangerous, which, by the way, many of those already transferred, both from the Bush administration and the Obama administration, who have been transferred, were extremely dangerous. So let me give you one example. Mullah Zakir, who served as the Taliban's operations commander during the U.S. surge, he's responsible for killing hundreds of Americans and allied troops. He commanded the Taliban's military operations in southern Afghanistan. He was cleared under the Bush administration. These are the type of people that we're releasing, sending back into the wild, and then all they're doing is just returning. It's a badge of honor for these guys to be in Gitmo. So if we're transferring them to other countries, we can't guarantee that they're going to stay in custody. And then those that are going to be coming back here to the United States, they're going to be inside U.S. prisons. It's absolute madness what he wants to do. It's akin to releasing prisoners of war in the middle of wartime so they could return to the ranks and fight you again.
All right, so there's 91 prisoners, including Khalid Sheikh Mohammed, the mastermind behind 9/11. We're saying that 35 are going to be sent away and 60 will be going to U.S. prisons. Will Khalid Sheikh Mohammed be staying here in the U.S.?
Yeah, Khalid Sheikh Mohammed would be getting a spot in a U.S. prison if he isn't executed for his crimes, which I seriously doubt will happen. And so that's the sort that you're going to get to spend time in U.S. prisons.
Now, I know President Obama is not an ideologue when it comes to the enforcement of federal law, but there is a federal law that prohibits Gitmo detainees from being housed in U.S. prisons. So what's the workaround there? Just executive order?
Yeah, I suspect that he'll either give us an executive order on that, or he'll just have them transferred like he did with the 5 detainees at Guantanamo when he wanted to release them and in exchange for Bo Bergdahl, the American deserter soldier who was detained by the Taliban or imprisoned by the Taliban for 5 years. He violated U.S. law and he didn't notify Congress that he was going to do it. He just did it. And, here's the key. Congress has to step up and has to oppose this. They have to hold his feet to the fire on this. With the Gitmo detainee transfer, nobody did it. No congressman stood up. Congress did. You have a Republican-led Congress, and nobody wants to oppose him on transferring 5 dangerous Al-Qaeda-linked Taliban commanders for a soldier who deserted and put his own troops, his fellow troops, in danger. So I really hope Congress stands up to this and opposes this and holds his feet to the fire. They're the only one that can do it. I mean, is the Department of Justice going to do it? It's the Obama administration's Department of Justice.
So the 60 prisoners who will stay here in the United States, are your sources telling you where they might go? We're hearing a lot of rumblings about Florence, Colorado. Are you hearing anything?
I haven't heard I've only heard the same rumors that are out there with respect to Colorado. I haven't heard anything specific. The question is would you want these guys in your community, in a prison near your community? And, we hope the folks, if it is indeed in Lawrence, Colorado, that they stand up and oppose this as well.
Because isn't it a safety issue, though? I mean, if you have a known jihadist, a known killer, a mastermind of 9/11 like Khalid Sheikh Mohammed behind bars, couldn't there something nefarious happen and maybe a prison escape or, who knows?
Yeah, look, Al-Qaeda and the Islamic State, they've done all this overseas, but they've conducted prison breaks in foreign countries. It's one of the things that they say they are committed to doing, which is freeing their fellow jihadists who are in detention. I think it'd be a lot more difficult to do this in the United States as opposed to in a place like Iraq or Afghanistan or Pakistan, where the security situation is far worse. But is that a risk that we're willing to take?
Well, Bill, have you considered the Dick Durbin argument? He made this argument when, with respect to a federal prison or a state prison that was sold to the federal government in Western Illinois several years back, that housing these terrorists in Illinois, for example, is a job creator because we'd have to employ more prison guards and the like. So have you considered that if we bring terrorists here, it's going to create jobs? It's a way to get our economy going again.
Yeah, it's great. And we should just start bringing all the terrorists in the world and imprisoning them here in the United States, and we could create thousands and thousands of jobs. Why not?
He went on to say, too, that they'll build hotels because they're going to have family members that are going to come and visit.
Right. Then they can visit them. We could pay them.
And then restaurants, gas stations.
Yeah, it's a multiplier
effect. Welfare and things like that. So, why not?
Yeah,
I think it's a great idea.
It'll be a boon. There's no question. All right. Bill Roggio of the Foundation for Defense of Democracy, Senior Fellow, editor of the FDD's Long War Journal. Bill, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Always a pleasure, Dan and Amy. Have a great day.
And he joined us on our Turnkey.pro answer line. Oh, but here.
Let's take Phil real quick. Phil on the Northwest side.
Yeah, he said just about everything I wanted to say, except for all these terrorists should be put to death. And every time I listen to Obama speak, I feel like if I was the enemy of this, he was my leader, all his speeches then make sense. We've spent 2 presidential terms with these people not going to prison, not getting punished for what they did, and at the same time, the flag being at half-mast for 7.5 years.
Thanks for the call, Phil.
Listen to Dan and Amy on your smartphone. Download the AM560 mobile app today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Oh, the winter weather is slowly creeping up on us. A winter storm warning in effect at 9 a.m. It'll last until 4 a.m. tomorrow because with the snow will come some Very gusty winds, blizzard-like conditions, blowing snow. It's just going to be a mess. A foot of snow in northwest Indiana, a half a foot in Chicago. At O'Hare, they're predicting 3.3 inches. And we're going to have a high today in the mid to upper 30s. Let's get the travel times. I'm sure it's bad out there. Here's Jim Talamonte with the details.
Thanks, Amy. Actually, on the expressways and tollways, I think some people are staying home because the Kennedy, at this hour of the morning, 50 minutes, O'Hare to downtown. That's certainly not heavier than usual, and the express lanes will save you 8 to 10 minutes. Outbound, just 28 minutes downtown to the airport. Edens, 20 minutes, Lake Hook to Montrose. Outbound 22, the Eisenhower. Only 42 minutes, Thorndale to downtown, outbound 44. The Stevenson is an hour from 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound, it's now fine after some heavier delays earlier. The Ryan is 23 minutes, 95th to downtown. Lakeshore Drive, slow southbound Montrose to Fullerton, but it's a little lighter than usual. Northbound, heavier from the Stevenson to Jackson. Northbound Tri-State slow from the Reagan Tollway to the Eisenhower. Adams Tollway stop and go Roselle to 53. And westbound from Bussey to Arlington Heights Road with a crash in the left lane. 53, slow Palatine to Kirchhoff. At O'Hare, however, more than 680 flights have been canceled today due to the winds and the incoming storm. 55 at Midway. There's some delays. The Indiana Toll Road imposes a high wind ban for high-profile loads from 11 o'clock this morning till 11 a.m. Thursday. I'm Jim Talamonte, ChicagoRadioDeals.com Traffic Center.
High-profile loads is a good band name. If you're going to take a vacation this year, why not make it a vacation that you'll remember for a lifetime? Imagine taking a trip that's more than just a vacation. Imagine taking a trip that brings history to life. History that includes the Greek Parthenon, the Acropolis, Malta, Rome, Naples, Jerusalem, and many others. This is exactly what you'll experience on the Footsteps of the Apostles Mediterranean Cruise. It's happening this fall aboard Celebrity Cruise Line's Silhouette cruise liner. Experience the sights and sounds of the places where faith, culture, and history intersect. This 15-day trip includes stops in Italy, Greece, Israel, Malta, and Turkey. You'll travel in luxury on a premier cruise ship with deluxe accommodation and all meals included. Don't take another vacation. Take a trip that you'll remember for a lifetime. For more information and to book your trip, visit footstepsoftheapostlestour.com. That's footstepsoftheapostlestour.com.
Hey, this is Joe Walsh, excited to tell you about Chicagoland's finest gun shop and indoor shooting range. I'm talking about Maxson Shooters Supplies and Indoor Range, just north of O'Hare in Des Plaines. Maxson is Chicagoland's first NSSF 5-star facility and one of only 70 nationwide. Hey, protecting your family and Second Amendment rights are real important. That's why Maxson Shooters Supplies is focused on safety, proficiency, education, and takes real pride in providing the area's highest quality facility to hone your skills on one of their 20 handgun, rifle, and shotgun stations. Maxson has the classes you need, including Illinois Concealed Carry and 2 on-staff gunsmiths for all your repair and customization needs. Maxson is easy to reach in Des Plaines, just off of I-90 and Mount Prospect Road. For information or directions, call 847-298-4867 or visit MaxsonShooters.com. That's M-A-X-O-N Shooters.com. Maxson Shooters, Supplies and Indoor Range.
The following is a paid political announcement.
Why do I support Ted Cruz? Because I trust Ted Cruz.
Trust is everything.
You know, everyone here talks about the need to take on Washington. The natural next question is who actually has done so.
He really represents the people. He represents me.
He actually went to Washington, D.C. and did what he told the voters he was going to do.
Who actually has stood up not just to Democrats, but to leaders in our own party.
He's not afraid to say the honest truth, even from the Senate floor, even if it's unpopular.
When millions of Americans rose up against Obamacare, I was proud to lead that fight.
He has been consistent on every issue.
When millions of Americans rose up against Planned Parenthood, I was proud to lead that fight.
I feel as though he is a man of conviction.
I think he's what this country needs.
When I tell you I'm going to do something, I'm going to do exactly what I said I would do.
Paid for by Keep the Promise One and not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. KeepThePromise1.com. Keep the Promise One is responsible for the content of this advertising.
AM 560. The
answer. Dance for me, Dan. Oh.
I don't. This Robin Thicke song is too suggestive.
Hey. Plagiarism.
Yeah.
Hey. Create your own lyrics. Write them on.
I prefer Alan Thicke. And a good wholesome sitcom like Family Matters.
Do you know every time
not Family Matters.
We're having Radio Heimers today.
Growing Pains. I mean, I like Family Matters too. Urkel. That was Urkel.
Yeah.
Growing Pains was Kirk Cameron and Alan Thicke and Tracy Gold.
Yeah. Well, Robin
and Leonardo DiCaprio. That's where he got his start. Don't forget.
Oh, on what show?
Growing Pains.
What? Really?
Yeah.
Was he a guest or was he a regular cast member?
He was like a recurring cast member later in the series. I mean, this is the kind of sad child that I have.
Robin Thicke has said that, during his depositions, he said that every interview he did, he was drunk. There's your plausible deniability. Hammered.
Speaking of legal matters, judge strikes down scholarship for straight white men.
Oh.
Here's a little foreshadowing for what's coming to a courtroom near you in this country. Now, this is Canada. But a Canadian judge has struck down a recently deceased doctor's plan to create a scholarship for heterosexual white men on the grounds it is contrary to public policy. So this is his money, and the last will and testament, he wanted to fund a scholarship, but there were stipulations. His money now. Radiologist Victor Priebe died on New Year's Day 2015, included a provision in his will to establish a scholarship with an unusual stipulation. Scholarship to fund single, straight, white men who intend to study science. The scholarship also requests the recipient not play collegiate sports and that they not show an aversion to manual labor. He wants, basically, I guess he wants to endow a scholarship to provide more straight, white male doctors or medical researchers up there in Canada. Strange brew, indeed. He also sought to create a similar scholarship for a single woman who is not a feminist or a lesbian. Good luck. But
I told you my lesbian story yesterday in yoga.
What was that?
This couple came in, lesbian couple, and she said, "I'm the boyfriend. I want you to meet my boyfriend." I looked at her like, "You're a woman. You're not a guy." But that's how she identified herself as the man in the relationship. So I had to do some down dogs with them yesterday.
Did you also do some yoga moves?
That's a yoga move, yes. A down dog.
Of course.
Asi Pranasana. Do you know what that means?
No. Oh. I'm not going to your yoga class, particularly your yoga class, or any yoga class for that matter. This doctor's will, deceased radiologist's will, has been struck down in court in Canada by a judge who says it's too offensive to take effect. And it's so offensive, it's contrary to public policy in generic ways. This is like, you think this couldn't happen here. We have Anthony Kennedy basically redefining marriage in this country by saying it's just offensive and it's contrary to public. Basically the same legal reasoning that you have here. It's very interesting that this direction, if it's offensive, even with your private property, you cannot employ your private property in furtherance of your wishes, even upon your passing. What do you think about that? Should somebody be able to say, if I want to leave money or endow a scholarship, I can provide the specifics of who qualifies for that scholarship, even if it has to do with characteristics of race, gender, sexual orientation, religion?
I don't know, because they might see that as discrimination. So I don't know, but it is your money. That's a great point.
So if I wanted to give my guess.
Okay, so you want to give money, say, to your alma mater, not Northwestern, your high school.
Yeah.
Bennett.
Yeah.
Can you write down the criteria? Could it go to a male? Could it go to a female student?
Well, it's
white, tall, white male like yourself who's good at throwing the rock around.
Yeah.
Like yourself.
Right.
Who can rap like yourself, who can wear parachute pants and own it like yourself.
You've obviously seen my last will and testament.
The stories you need to know to start your day. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Everywhere you go, the threat looms. It follows you no matter what you do. The longer you avoid the IRS and the financial difficulties you're going through, the closer they get to you. John DeWatt of Thinking Outside the Box Law Firm can help you end the feeling of being hunted by the IRS. If you've avoided taxes or could benefit from the life-saving assistance of bankruptcy, it's time you call John DeWatt. This is an attorney who is willing to take on the federal government on your behalf. He has worked to discharge thousands of dollars in penalties, and he can help you settle your debts once and for all. Call 888-777-4193. Let the hunters become the hunted. Let John DeWatt of Thinking Outside the Box Law Firm deal with the IRS personally. Call John for your own relief plan. 888-777-4193 or online at thinkingoutsidetheboxlaw.com. That's thinkingoutsidetheboxlaw.com.
Did you ever take that vacation that sticks with you and you dream of going back? Well, for me, that place is Ritz-Carlton Dove Mountain Resort outside of Tucson, Arizona. There's endless outdoor activities, tennis, horseback riding, 20 miles of hiking and biking trails that are on the property. Everywhere you look, there's breathtaking views of the Sonoran Desert because you're nestled in between 5 mountain ranges. If you're a golfer, it's the best course you can play in Arizona, according to Golf Digest. If you like spas, it's the number 3 spa in all of North America, the number 1 spa in Arizona. It's perfect for family vacations because there's a water slide and a kids-only pool and a kids club as well. So if you want some alone time with your hubby or spouse, this is the place to go. Romantic getaways, rated number 1. The food is excellent, and there's direct flights out of O'Hare and Midway. 350 days of sunshine a year guaranteed. And right now, there's special rates and packages available for spring break. Visit ritzcarlton.com/Dove Mountain for all the details. That's ritzcarlton.com/Dove Mountain. Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hillary welcomes more subpoenas at 8:38.
And Donald Trump hits the jackpot, and he loves the poorly educated. You'll hear from him. But first, into the newsroom we go. Here is Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, good morning. Good morning, everyone. We have cloudy skies, 35 degrees, winter storm warning up for Cook County, blizzard warning up for Northwest Indiana. Donald Trump celebrating his 3rd victory in an early voting contest, riding a wave of anti-government sentiment among Republican and other voters in Nevada.
And if you could add them up, because you know the other candidates amount to 55%. So if they could just add, they keep forgetting that when people drop out, we're going to get a lot of votes.
Polls show the businessman with support from about half of those angry voters to convincingly win last night's Nevada caucuses. Mississippi and parts of Alabama and Louisiana are under a state of emergency after deadly tornadoes hit the Gulf Coast. 2 were killed when a twister struck a trailer park in the town of Convent in southeast Louisiana. No survivors after a twin-engine plane carrying 23 crashed into a mountain in central Nepal. The plane had taken off in bad weather for just an 18-minute flight. President Barack Obama meeting today at the White House with Jordan's King Abdullah. Topics expected to dominate the discussion include resolving the Syrian conflict. A motorist is dead after a collision with a semi on the Stevenson Expressway early this morning in Hodgkins. Students at Chicago State University get no spring break this year. The school announcing the vacation period has been canceled in order to move up the end of semester and allow some seniors to graduate. It's all part of the financial issue at that university caused by the state budget crisis. Chicago sports, NBA tonight. The Bulls take on Washington. Last night in the Big Ten, Michigan State topped Ohio State. And in the MAC, our Northern Illinois Huskies dropped one to Central Michigan, 76-64. The news, a service of the Foundation for a Better Life. Deaf and blind, Helen Keller overcame her world of darkness. Foresight, pass it on from the Foundation for a Better Life at values.com. 8:33 is our time, and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Is Mike Gallagher buying into the conspiracy surrounding the death of Justice Scalia?
Found in bed with a pillow over his head, and there will be no autopsy, per the family's request. Do I need to say anything more? One of the most bizarre stories I've seen in a long time. This thing is as bizarre gets.
The Mike Gallagher Show, weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
At B-Dubs, catch all the postseason action, eat great food, and enjoy excellent beer from their countless taps. It's the time of year that every game counts. Buffalo Wild Wings. Wings, beer, sports. Please drink responsibly.
Hi, I'm Lex Howard, CEO of Balance of Nature. I occasionally take new customer calls, and often people tell me that they have been hearing our advertisements for years. What are you waiting for? Start now and begin experiencing the benefits of Balance of Nature in your life.
I'm going to tell you right now, and this is crazy. I just went to the dentist, and I had a tooth cleaning, and she's like amazed. She goes, your teeth are great. She goes, I don't even need to be doing this work. And, and health-wise, heart-wise, stamina-wise, it's unbelievable. I just adore your products. I wish I could talk to everybody individually, give them my phone number and say, if you don't believe me, call me up. I'll tell you. It's the best thing you ever did in your life.
Good health is just a phone call away. What are you waiting for? Call now and take the health challenge to get a free month supply of Balance of Nature. Call 1-800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code Chicago.
8:35 in our ChicagoRadioDeals.com traffic center. The latest now with Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. At O'Hare, about 680 flights have been canceled today, more than 50 at Midway due to the conditions and the incoming weather. Indiana Toll Road imposes a high wind ban for high-profile double and triple trailers and oversized loads. That's from 11 this morning till 11 a.m. Thursday. Eden's inbound, 19 minutes Lake Cook to Montrose. Outbound 21 with the delay starting at Dempster. The Kennedy, 50 minutes O'Hare to downtown. Outbound 28. The Eisenhower, 40 minutes Thorndale to the post office. Outbound 44. Stevenson, 51 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound it's now fine. Ryan, 23 minutes, 95th to downtown, Lakeshore Drive. Southbound slow Montrose to Fullerton and northbound from the Stevenson to Jackson. Westbound Tri-State heavy from the Reagan Tollway to the Eisenhower. Adams Tollway westbound stop and go. Elmhurst Road to Arlington Heights Road where there's a crash in the left lane. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte, AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the AirComfort.com Weather Center. AirComfort.com, 80 years of quality mechanical solutions for your business. A cloudy, windy, and colder day ahead. Snow beginning accumulations in the blizzard zone across northwest Indiana. And a winter storm warning is up for Cook County and Will County and northern Kankakee County. High of 37. Roads will stay slippery and snow-covered overnight with a low of 30. 35 at O'Hare. Next news coming up at 9. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Dr. Amy and Associates Integrative Medicine, empowering people, changing lives. Visit dramyandassociates.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy. So, Amy, yesterday, a federal judge ruled that State Department officials and top aides to Hillary Clinton, like Mrs. Carlos Danger, should be questioned under oath about whether they intentionally thwarted federal open records laws by using or allowing the use of a private email server throughout Clinton's tenure as Secretary of State. This is in part a response. Well, this is in response. This ruling to a lawsuit over public records that's been brought by Judicial Watch, doing the job the Attorney General of the United States doesn't do. We also have confirmation that Hillary Clinton did have a classified email account created for her. A letter from the State Department's Assistant Secretary of State for Legislative Affairs. Secretary Clinton did not use a classified email account at the State Department. An account was set up on ClassNet on her calendar, but it was not used. So purposeful decision to not use the secure State Department email
well, yeah,
to use her
she's
own.
above the law. She was Secretary of State. She was head of the department. She didn't care what anybody else thought or said.
You know what that sounds like? That sounds like the typical right-wing talking point.
Well, but it's true, though. I mean, she was so arrogant. Even last night, Chris Cuomo from CNN during the town hall asked her, again, a thoughtful question about her emails.
You know the universe of thought that this comes from. You've known it for a long time. You've dealt with it for a long time, and many of us have watched it. Today, a federal judge, as you know, issued on a ruling on a motion that could pave the way for the possibility that you could be subpoenaed in order to obtain any information. Whatever the details of this latest case, it's what they call the drip, drip, drip theory of this. It doesn't go away. What is your statement to Democrats who are afraid that this right, wrong, good, bad, it will not leave you in this race and may compromise you now and going forward?
That there just is no basis for that, Chris. And you know, look, I'm well aware of the drip, drip, drip. I've been in the public arena for 25 years and have been the subject of a lot of ongoing attacks and misinformation and all the rest of it. But I can only tell you what the facts are. And The facts are that every single time somebody has hurled these charges against me, which they have done, it's proved to be nothing. And
that's not true. And I know this is the party line from the left, but more than 1,700 of Clinton's work emails have been retroactively determined to contain classified information. Approximately 24 contain top secret information. Some SAP special access programs so secret that even the Inspector General for the intelligence community couldn't access them. And importantly, in at least 2 of those emails, there was classified information at the time the emails were sent. So this kind of, I never knowingly sent classified information. It wasn't classified at the time. That is a lie. And they know it's a lie, but it's their talking point. And then the other talking point, as properly delivered by the Dickensian-named Clinton campaign manager, Robbie Mook.
The Mookster, he's back.
On with Jake Tapper, trotting out the vast right-wing conspiracy.
Robbie, I want to ask you about this news just now of a new development in this email case, a judge in D.C. opening the door to future subpoenas for Clinton, for her longtime aide, Huma Abedin, looking to get a hold of personal emails that were not turned over to the State Department. Do you have any response to this news?
Well, Jake, we all know that the right wing sees Hillary Clinton as the Democrats' best chance to hold on the White House and continue to build on the progress that President Obama has made. That's why this right-wing group filed this lawsuit. Of course they're trying to subpoena people. Of course they're trying to get this into the news. And we're just going to keep pushing forward.
Robbie, this judge was appointed by Bill Clinton, I believe.
Well, it's the judge's decision to make. My point is that this is promulgated by a right-wing group.
Yeah.
There you go.
District Court judge appointed by Bill Clinton. Boy, isn't that interesting. Hillary's got to love that a Bill Clinton appointee is causing her all kinds of headaches because he's actually following the law as it pertains to discovery of relevant information in the suit. And, of course, following the law as anathema to Hillary Clinton. The other thing that Robbie Mook said that turns out not to be true, according to the numbers right now.
Yeah.
I mean, it was stunning. Hillary Clinton, not the Democrats' best chance, at least according to the numbers today,
yes,
to win the presidency. Bernie Sanders has
what?
Bernie Sanders has leads over all of the top Republican presidential candidates by double figures. Bernie Sanders in a matchup against Trump, a matchup Rubio, Cruz, up by double figures.
Why you got to ruin my day like that? I mean, really, what did I do to you? Huh?
That's true. Gary and Wilmette.
I'm already sick about Donald Trump winning yet again his three-peat last night. Now you tell me this? Thanks.
Gary and Wilmette, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Oh, hello. Yes, I was just going to offer the observation that after the election, I suspect Obama will pardon Hillary if a Republican is elected president.
Pardon Hillary? You didn't hear Hillary. She didn't do anything wrong. What did you have to pardon her for? Thanks.
Well, it would be like Nixon. It would be, it would be good.
Right, Ford Nixon. Thanks for the call,
I
Gary.
just want to know, speaking of pardons, if he's going to pardon Blagojevich. He's done his time. It's been 4 years.
No, I bet he.
What do you want to place a bet on that?
I bet he doesn't.
Wait.
He
know what?
He will not.
You owe me $1.
For
Marco
what?
Rubio came in second place yesterday. Hey, fork it over.
Was that our bet?
Yes. I want my $1. I want to go to the vending machine, buy myself a pop. Thank you. Give me the $1.
I don't. Can you?
I almost forgot.
Can you break 100?
Oh my gosh! Do you really have a Benjamin?
Here,
oh yeah.
here's your
Thank you.
$1.
Oh, thank you very much.
Unbelievable.
Next time you know not to bet against the Jakester.
Yeah.
All right, Donald Trump.
Next time I'll take the Jeb Bush bet of
Yes.
third place in South Carolina.
Donald Trump. I have to tell you, he gets more creative with his rhetoric every day. Yesterday, he thanked the poorly educated. People that voted for him.
We won the evangelicals. We won with young. We won with old. We won with highly educated. We won with poorly educated. I love the poorly educated. We're the smartest people. We're the most loyal people. And you know what I really am happy about? Because I've been saying it for a long time. 46% with the Hispanics. 46%. Number one with Hispanics.
I mean, he, to use poorly educated. I mean, he could have just said Iowa grads.
Oh,
Oh, you see what I did?
That is so rude. For you people out there who didn't go to college is what he was saying, right?
Poorly educated, either if you didn't go to college or you went to an Ivy League school. The poorly educated. That's a loaded term, the poorly educated. It can apply to a lot of people, including people with advanced degrees, it turns out.
Well, yesterday we had Aunt Linda on about this time, and I want you to know, Dan, that they ran out of ballots because so many people showed up to her precinct. She said the line was out the door, around the corner and out the door. She took pictures. I told her to take pictures, and then she sent a cute little picture of herself next to the box. I tweeted it out at Amy Jacobson if you want to see it.
My favorite Nevada political correspondent, Aunt Linda.
Voter turnouts for Sun City Anthem went like this. Trump, 762 votes. Rubio, 416. Cruz, 169. Carson, 102. And Kasich, 61. So that pretty much reflected the outcome of, the entire state of Nevada. But she was busy, and she was so pleased with the voter turnout. Said everybody was excited. They got there early, and of course, they got the results that she wanted.
You're not going to get those micro-level election returns from Sun City Anthem anywhere else other than this show.
You've made the switch, and it feels so good. You've switched to Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
We told her to break it down, and now she broke it down. Voter totals were correct.
She should replace Karl Rove on Fox News Channel.
Well, today it's coming, the snow, and if you live in the south suburbs or Valparaiso, Indiana, the snow is already starting to fall anywhere from a half a foot to a foot. If you live in northwest Indiana, O'Hare predicting 3.3 inches. But with the snow comes the strong wind and blizzard-like conditions by this afternoon, so your commute home is going to be rough. A high today of 37 degrees. Tonight, the wind and a bit of snow continues. Roads predicting to be slippery by tomorrow morning, and then by tomorrow afternoon, we'll have breezy with considerable clouds. A high of 36. Travel times, Jim, do you think people are staying home today?
Sure looks that way, Amy. Right now, the Edens is delay-free. It's 19 minutes either way between Lake Cook and Montrose. The Kennedy improving nicely. 43 minutes, O'Hare to downtown for you. It's 33 minutes from Montrose, 30 of the Express. The Ohio feeder's heavy. Outbound, just 25 minutes downtown to the airport. Inbound Eisenhower. 36 minutes, Thorndale to downtown, outbound 34. The Stevenson, 44 minutes, 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive. It's fine outbound. The Ryan, 23 minutes, 95th to downtown. Southbound Lakeshore Drive, still slow from Montrose to Fullerton. Northbound from the Stevenson to Jackson. The Adams Tollway has a big westbound backup from Elmhurst Road to Arlington Heights Road, where a crash has cleared. The other tollways are light, but air travel is going to be a challenge today. What air travel there is, we have nearly 700 cancellations at O'Hare, about 55 at Midway. Expect more as the day wears along. I'm Jim Talamonte, ChicagoRadioDeals.com, Traffic Center.
Looking to secure financing on a new home or refinance your existing home, then you need to do what Amy did and call David Hochberg. Carol called to consolidate her mortgage, credit card debt, and student loans because her husband Sam listens to David's show. Carol and Sam lived on credit cards to feed their family and cover expenses when Sam lost his job. Sound familiar? David informed Carol consolidating her debt into a 15-year fixed loan would reduce her payment over $1,000 a month. Carol talked it over with Sam, and this is a direct quote. If David said to do it, then let's do it. Needless to say, David is helping Carol and Sam recalibrate their debt and save more than $12,000 a year. If you've accumulated debt because of a job loss and you'd like David's help recalibrating your debt, give him a call now at 312-751-1333 or visit am560david.com. David's helped Amy and Carol and Sam and thousands of AM 560 listeners, and he'll help you, but you have to call 312-751-1333 or check them out online at am560david.com. Pro Mortgage is Equal Housing Lender, Illinois Residential Mortgage Licensee 4358, RMLA, NMLS 19186.
If you suffer from depression, consider TMS, an incredible new advancement in treating and relieving depression. Medications may not work and can cause serious side effects.
I'm Jim Marks, a medical director at Theramind Services and a board-certified psychiatrist for over 22 years. If you or someone you love suffers from depression, TMS can change your life. I've witnessed its transformative results in my patients for years.
TMS, or transcranial magnetic stimulation, is a safe, non-invasive, and highly effective treatment for drug-resistant depression. Over 50,000 patients have been helped by TMS. Most insurance companies cover TMS, including Blue Cross Blue Shield of Illinois and Medicare. Depression can be beaten, and without drugs. Schedule a free consultation with Theramind, with locations throughout Chicagoland. If you suffer from depression, do something about it. Call Theramind, 847-562-5868, or go to tmsmind.com.
The following is a paid political announcement.
When I was elected by the people of Texas in 2012, I promised I'd fight for the Constitution and the people it was designed to protect, and fight to secure the borders and stand for the rule of law. I promised I'd fight the Washington insiders when it came to spending and our national debt, and for the conservative values that made this country great, without apology. When I got to Washington, I did just that. I fought Obamacare, the Gang of Eight amnesty bill, and the debt ceiling limit. Some of those fights got me in trouble with members of my own party, but I wasn't elected to serve them. Now I'm running for president, and I need your help. Please help my campaign fight back.
You can tell
against
that
the
he was a
establishment.
lost dog.
Help me
Of
help
course,
all
he's
of us to
confused
take our
because
country back. Give
It
$10,
broke my heart to
$25,
hear that,
$50.
you know, the
Let's
poor
show
animal
the
lost his
establishment elites
his
that we the
owner,
people
his best
are the
friend.
best
He was
hope
still
for
very
America. Go to cruisecrew.org
a little bit shaken up
now.
whenever I touched him.
Please, that's cruisecrew.org now.
I'm Ted Cruz, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Cruz for President.
AM 560, The Answer.
Amy Jacobson's dog stories. Woof woof. Woof. Woof woof.
That's not a real dog.
That is awesome.
I don't think that's a real dog barking.
I love you, David Stribling.
That's
good.
my very attuned ear to dogs.
Well, before we get to our dog story, what do you want
we've got an issue. Thankfully, we have attentive listeners who won't let me get scammed. Ann B. Davis's bowling ball texting in about our bet on Rubio's finish yesterday in the Las Vegas caucus, or the Nevada caucus.
Yeah.
Check the tape. Amy said Rubio by 5 points. Now, Rubio didn't win by 5 points. He won by 3 points. I don't recall, because I make so many bets on a given day, I lose track of them.
Well, it was 3 points, but with 91% in.
96% in.
Now you got, and you're sure it's 3 points?
Yeah, 24-21 between Rubio and Cruz.
You know what? I can't lie. That's right.
All right.
Here you go.
That's my.
Whoa, my alligator arms can't reach across the council.
Yeah.
Please clap.
It's not like we're having lunch. We can. Now this is the $1 I gave you back. We made a $1 bet, so now I am owed a $1. That's how it works.
Oh, you know what? Check in with me tomorrow. No, really, I had some problems with my bank card.
And so you don't have a $1 on you.
Oh, my God. Who the hell cares?
It's my $1. You'd care if it was your $1. All right, now to your dog story.
Thank you. All right. Recently, we've added a member to the family. We have a dog now, a puppy dog, and I have scheduled like visitations with the cats and the dog to, slowly get them to work together to live in harmony.
Okay, Ace Ventura.
Well, it's not going so well, but I saw this dog story and I had to share it with all you dog lovers out there, because most people who have hearts, Dan, have animals.
I'm talking about getting a dog.
Really?
Yeah.
What kind of dog do you want?
I think I'm thinking about a Rhodesian Ridgeback.
In your tiny condo? Your very big condo.
Go along with my giant Flemish rabbit.
I love that thing. All right, so this is Houston, and there's a loyal dog that has been patiently waiting for his owner to come back home from work. He's been waiting for 2 weeks, just sitting outside this apartment complex outside his owner's door.
You can tell that he was a lost dog. He would follow the cars, and then when he would realize that maybe it's not his owner's car, he would just stand there and look helpless.
And so everybody in the apartment complex is wondering where his owner went. And it turns out the owner of the dog works at a convenience store, and he was killed 2 weeks ago during an armed robbery. So the dog's owner is not coming back, but you can't explain that to a dog.
Of course, he's confused because he doesn't know what's going on. He hadn't seen his owner in 2 weeks.
Stupid dog.
Will you stop it? Loyal dog. God, Dan. So the dog would, not get close to anybody, and residents left behind food and water. And finally, after a plea on social media, this woman, Miranda Perez, came forward to help.
It just broke my heart to hear that, the poor animal lost his owner, his best friend. He was still very
looking a little bit shaken up whenever I touched him.
And you have to see a picture of this dog just sitting helplessly outside the apartment door. It will break your heart. But the good news is, Dan, Miranda Perez, that woman you just heard, she brought her golden retriever with, and it took him an hour, but they slowly gained the trust of the dog, and they finally put it in his car, and then they drove away, and everybody's clapping as the German Shepherd finally found love again.
You know what I love about this story? The guy who was murdered at the convenience store. Yeah, whatever. Now, what are we going to do about the dog? The dog that's lonely, waiting for his owner. The guy at the convenience store is still dead, right?
And but the worst part is they showed video of the clerk getting, killed during this armed robbery. It was horrible, but not as sad as then they juxtapose it with the dog.
Don't show it. Don't show that video to the dog. He's not ready for that.
We don't know if he can handle the truth.
The priority of life and feelings of dogs over humans always fascinates me. It's great.
Who let the dogs out?
Connect with Dan and Amy using the AM 560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
The big Home and Garden Expo that Bob Vila promotes is coming to the Tinley Park Convention Center March 5th and 6th. If you're looking to remodel your kitchen, bathroom, basement, or maybe get a new roof, flooring, windows, or a new deck, then this is the event for you. At this 2-day expo, you'll meet local and national contractors displaying their products and services. Get fresh ideas, set up estimates, and talk directly with contractors, many of which are offering huge discounts. Enhance your landscaping and beautify your yard with Ted's Greenhouse, offering a wide variety of the finest plants in the area. Find everything you need for your home under one roof. Special announcement. Design expert Kelly Edwards of HGTV's Design on a Dime will be presenting both days, Saturday and Sunday, March 5th and 6th, from 12 to 1 p.m. and giving away cash and prizes. Don't miss the big Home and Garden Expo coming March 5th and 6th to the Tinley Park Convention Center. For more information, please visit homeshowevent.com. That's homeshowevent.com.
Yeah. That convenience store clerk shot and killed in cold blood. But wow. What about the dog? What about the dog?
I didn't even realize that. Oh, I'm so sad.
Turnkey IT is a name you've come to know and trust on AM 560. Turnkey IT provides small businesses with IT resources normally reserved for Fortune 500 companies. They provide world-class network installations and ongoing IT support for fixed monthly rates based on the size of your network. In fact, Turnkey IT has a program that fits the needs of your business. Turnkey IT understands your business matters, and that keeping you focused on it makes all the difference in the world. Best of all, their service can save you time and money. Turnkey IT can give you the peace of mind that backups are being executed, email is always available, files are secure, and you've got someone to call when you need help. Turnkey IT has people who are professional, friendly, on time, and a live person even answers the phone 24 hours a day. So visit turnkey.pro today for a plan that fits your needs. That's turnkey.pro.
Hey, protecting your family and Second Amendment rights is important. You need the proper equipment and training from DS Arms. As an actual manufacturer of AR-15 and FNFAL-type rifles, they also stock all major brands of firearms, including handguns and every accessory imaginable for self-defense, target shooting, and hunting. Ladies, get your concealed carry license plus basic and advanced training in a family-friendly environment with girlfriends, loved ones, even mom. Everything's provided, including a firearm for only $225 for custom rifles made in America or concealed carry firearms training classes. Make DS Arms your team. It's great being an American and supporting your Second Amendment rights and American manufacturing jobs. With nearly 3 decades of experience, DS Arms has you covered. DS Arms, much more than a gun store. It's easy to reach in Lake Barrington, just off of Route 14 and Pepper Road. Call 847-277-7260 or visit DSArms.com.
Not available in California. Here's a great idea for a business. Health food and vending machines. Who doesn't want healthier choices? Imagine the money you could make. Well, the guys at Fresh Healthy Vending have already thought of it and have secured locations ready for healthy vending machines. Most of our franchisees work fewer than 15 hours a week and are amazed at the income they're making and how fast their business is growing. So go to readyforfresh.com right now. Type in promo code 1919 and receive an immediate 50% savings on franchise fees. That's right, we'll pay half of new franchisees' fees. Readyforfresh.com, 1919.
At GoDaddy, a domain name is the beginning of something awesome. Use it to create a website to promote your business. Open an online store to sell your products. Start a blog. Build your brand. You can even connect your domain to your LinkedIn or Facebook page. And GoDaddy customer support is always ready to help. What will you do with your domain name? Get a free domain with website from GoDaddy.com, starting at $1 a month. Annual purchase of website builder required. Price valid first year only. See website for details.
The Republican race for the White House has come down to just a handful of candidates, and tomorrow night, beginning at 7, the remaining will meet for a debate just days before Super Tuesday. And the only place to hear the debate in Chicago isn't on your radio. The only place to hear the debate is on the AM 560 web stream. Listen on the AM 560 mobile app or online at 560theanswer.com/listen. We are your election station, AM 560, The Answer. And we'll see you back here tomorrow morning at 5 a.m. Be careful driving this afternoon and tomorrow morning. Now let's go into the newsroom. Here's Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, that winter storm is blasting northwest Indiana. We'll have an update on some snowfall totals and wind speeds. The NBA tonight, Washington and the Bulls, and WIND Chicago News Time, 9 o'clock.
Fox News Radio, I'm Dave Anthony. Fresh off a third win in a row, Donald Trump says,
my people are very, very loyal. You see that.